Chapter 154. Time flies, little by little, and unknowingly, it is fleeting, like a white steed passing through a crack. In the blink of an eye, the golden August is past, and Beijing, a super city with a population of 30 million, has entered the fragrant September of Osmanthus. The heat is no longer there, and autumn is gradually rising, and is about to usher in the best time of the year. Blue Sky Creative Park Area, Nirvana Studios. In the recording studio, studio manager Wang Changsheng, music director Wang Jing, recording engineer Wang Hui, and 3 other members of Nirvana Studios gathered together, staring at Lu Chun with nervous or expectant eyes. Wang Changsheng's forehead oozed fine sweat, his eyes were a little blank, and his right hand could not help but tremble. Wang Jing's eyes were still bright and full of spirit, but the action of biting her lips exposed her inner emotions. Wang Hui was the most unbearable. His whole body was trembling. He pressed his clenched fist on his mouth several times, as if to bite hard. Otherwise, he would be unable to hold back and shout out loud. However, Lu Chen could not see it at all. He was wearing huge monitoring headphones, listening to his own voice. Whenever I can't find the meaning of existence, whenever I am lost in the night. Oh, the brightest star in the night sky, please illuminate my way. The song gradually stopped, but the lingering sound still lingered in the ears, like the burning blood in the heart is still boiling. After a long time, Lu Chen took a long breath and opened his eyes. Under everyone's nervous and expectant gaze, he took off the headphones, nodded, and said, "It's okay." Yes, 3 simple words instantly set off a frenzy of joy in the studio. Wang Hui was the first to shout, and then the 3 members of the Nirvana band all clapped their hands hard. Wang Changsheng showed a happy smile with relief, and even Wang Jing, who has always been calm, smiled like a spring flower. They have reason to be happy, reason to cheer, and more reason to celebrate. Lu Chen's debut album produced in Nirvana Studio was also the biggest and most important order the studio has ever received since its establishment. After 2 months, it has finally been declared complete. Tian, Nirvana Studio, although there are certain problems in the arrangement, accompaniment, recording, and post-production, and they have not achieved the best level, everyone has done their best. The whole album's 10 songs can't be said to be flawless, but they are qualified to be called sincere works. Lu Chun is already very satisfied. 100,000 yuan can make such an effect, which is completely beyond his expectations. Perhaps the arrangement is slightly immature, and perhaps the accompaniment is not mature enough, but for this album, You Who Sat Next to Me, it is really enough. This immaturity does not affect the main style of the work at all, and can even better express a certain temperament of campus folk songs. He said sincerely, "Thank you." Lu Chen first reached out to Wang Changsheng. For this album, the studio manager has been busy running around, so that the production team has no worries, no credit, but hard work. Then Wang Hui. His work is the hardest. Recording and post-production are basically done by himself, often working overtime late into the night. And Wang Jing. All the arrangements of the works are completed by her. The Jingyin graduate has a good grasp of the style of the album, and when she encounters problems, she often tirelessly modifies and adjusts, and several times, she has been very serious. Finally, the 3 band members are also working hard. Even if they are mainly doing it for himself and the studio, Lu Chen is still grateful. Because Lu Chen himself participated in the production of the album, he is very aware of everyone's efforts. So, he wants to shake hands with everyone in Nirvana Studios one by one to express his gratitude. The next thing is simple. According to the contract, Lu Shi, who came with Lu Chen, paid the balance of the production fee to Nirvana Studios and also got the master disc of the album and the lossless high-quality audio file. The album, You Who Sat Next to Me, has a total of 10 songs. In addition to the title song, You Who Sat Next to Me, there are also The Wind, The Brother Who Slept on My Upper Bunk, Cinderella, The Bright Times of Youth, Beauty, Those Flowers, Ballad of Time, and Open Air Cinema, forming a unified campus folk style. For the last song, Lu Chen originally intended to use Once You as the finale and Easter egg, but considering the influence of Singing China and the overall style, he finally chose The Brightest Star in the Night Sky. As for Once You and Chasing Dream with a Childlike Heart, they will be put on the next album. Counting carefully, such a lineup can be called luxurious, and the 10 songs are all fine works. Whether it is the melody or the lyrics, they have enough highlights, and there are real classics as the core. For the first album of his life, Lu Chen will never be careless. It was the name of the album that made him hesitate for a long time. From a publicity point of view, The Brightest Star in the Night Sky is undoubtedly the most appropriate, but it does not fit the theme of campus folk songs. After careful consideration, Lu Chen still chose You Who Sat Next to Me. Lu Chen's studio has already negotiated with QQ Music. Lu Chen's debut album will be put on QQ Music for debut and exclusive sale, waiting for this set of audio files. QQ Music is the largest music website in China, with a market share of more than 50%. Originally, it was very difficult for a newcomer like Lu Chen, who is also an independent artist, to promote and release on their website. However, because the live version of several works sung by Lu Chen in Singing China has been a great success on QQ Music, with countless downloads and a good reputation, the website attaches great importance to the cooperation between the two sides. Although there are all kinds of rules in QQ Music and there are under-the-table manipulations on the homepage list, they can't ignore a singing star with huge market potential, so they are willing to exchange part of the benefits. This relatively equal status is not easy to come by, and it is also due to Lu Chen's strength. Otherwise, Lu Chen can go to QQ Music's competitors, EasyNet Music, pop radio stations, etc. With the quality and popularity of his works, the sales performance will not be too bad. QQ Music doesn't want to let its opponent take advantage of it, even if the latter's market share is not as good as its own. According to Lu Chen's plan, after QQ Music goes on sale, the cooperation with Flying Stone Records will be launched at the same time. QQ plus Flying Stone basically constitutes a perfect album sales channel, or double flight for short. But there is still a very important problem that has not been solved, so it is definitely necessary to go through the QQ channel first. Little Chen. The call in his ear suddenly woke Lu Chen up. Lu, she asked curiously, "What's the matter?" Lu Chen was just lost in thought about the distribution of channels. Now that he came back to his senses, he quickly replied, "Nothing." He then said to Wang Chongxing, "Manager Wang, I have booked a place at Jinghua Hotel. I'll treat everyone to dinner in the evening. Now it's almost time. Let's go together." The serious and responsible attitude of Nirvana Studios made Lu Chen have a very good impression of them. In the future, they will definitely continue to cooperate, so he is very willing to further enhance the relationship between the two sides. Lu Shi mentioned that if the time is right, she will directly acquire Nirvana Studios to strengthen herself. However, Lu Chen is not willing to support his sister's idea for the time being, because he can see that Wang Chongxing's family has deep feelings for the studio and has spent a lot of effort in it. Therefore, unless the other party takes the initiative to propose it, he will not acquire Nirvana Studios. When Lu Chen's studio really needs to grow, it is not a problem to ask someone to build a shed on their own. He doesn't want to be a shrewd businessman, calculating gains and losses for everything. "Great. Thank you, Brother Lu Chen." Wang Hui immediately expressed his strong support and said with a smile, "I eat fast food boxes every day. I'm about to vomit. I want to eat a big meal. I want to eat roast duck, braised ribs, sweet and sour fish." Ouch! Wang Jing slapped him on the back of the head and glared at him. "Can you be any more shameful?" Wang Hui looked wronged. Lu Chen smiled. Wang Hui is a very simple technical geek. He has no complicated thoughts. He is used to talking to others. In contrast, his sister, Wang Jing, pays more attention to details. Wang Chongxing said quickly, "Mr. Lu, let me treat you to dinner tonight." Nirvana Studios has earned Lu Chen's money, and it is really embarrassing for Lu Chen to treat them to dinner. Lu Chen said with a smile, "Manager Wang, you don't have to be so polite. Everyone is really working hard. I have to treat you." At Lu Chen's insistence, the dinner was still his treat. Everyone left the studio together. Jinghua Hotel is next to the Blue Sky Creative Park, which is only a 10-minute walk away. Lu Chen booked a big box in the restaurant on the second floor of the hotel. After sitting down, Lu Chen handed the menu to Wang Hui and said with a smile, "You order whatever you like. Don't be polite with me. The success of this album is due to you." Wang Hui happily took it and said, "Brother Lu Chen, I'm polite to others, but I'm really not polite to you. You are now a local tyrant. You can earn more than 1 million yuan by participating in the talent competition. My sister admires you very much." Wang Jing, who was sitting next to him, blushed and said, "What are you talking about?" Wang Hui stuck out his tongue and quickly ordered. After ordering, the dishes and wine were quickly served on the table. Lu Chen poured himself a full glass of beer, raised his glass and said with a smile, "I will toast everyone first. Thank you for your efforts and helping me complete an excellent album."
Thank you.
He drank it in one gulp. Wang Hui and others immediately applauded. Except for Wang Chongqing, the others were young people of about the same age. Everyone liked music and had a lot of common topics, so the atmosphere of the banquet quickly became lively. Halfway through, Lu Chen's cell phone rang. Lu Chen took it out and looked at it. The caller ID on the screen made his eyes light up. Chapter 155. It was Li Mubai who called Lu Chen. Li Mubai's tone was a little excited. "Brother Chen, my big brother wants to see you." Li Mubai's big brother? Lu Chen was stupefied, but he quickly realized that Li Mubai's big brother should be able to help him. A few days ago, because of a very important matter, Lu Chen asked Li Mubai to help him inquire about it, to see if the latter could help him contact the relevant people, lest he couldn't find the temple door, even if he carried a pig's head. China is a society of human relationships. If you want to establish a career, networking is really important. Li Mubai's family background is extraordinary, coupled with his forthright personality. He must know a lot of friends in Beijing. It's better to ask him for help than to sit in the studio and wait anxiously. No matter whether it works or not, it's always right to try. What Lu Chen didn't expect was that Li Mubai actually asked his big brother. Lu Chen knew nothing about who Li Mubai's big brother was, but listening to his tone, it was obvious that things were taking shape. It was also wonderful that Lu Chen and Li Mubai have never met in real life, but the relationship between the two has changed from the original Anchor Plus fan to a bit of real friends. If it weren't for this relationship, Lu Chen wouldn't have asked Li Mubai for help. As Chen Jinhao's view of Lu Chen, his pride is deep in his bones. Lu Chen quickly asked, "When and where will we meet?" "I'll come over myself." Li Mubai asked, "Where are you now?" Lu Chen replied, "I'm at the Jinghua Hotel next to the Creative Park. I invited the people of Nirvana Studios to dinner in the evening. My album has been produced, and it is expected to be available for sale on QQ Music in 2 days." "The album is finished?" Li Mubai was pleasantly surprised. "That's great. When the time comes, I'll mobilize everyone to support you. No matter what, I'll help you get on the sales list. It's just that online downloads are boring. Only when you release a real album will it be cool." The word, pretentious, was taught to him by Lu Chen. He had learned it from the dream world, and its opposite was cheap. Li Mubai put what he learned into practice and often talked about it. He would comment on the bullet screen from time to time in the live broadcast room. According to him, Li Bai was a high-class man. As for his archenemy, Arthes, he was definitely a despicable person. Lu Chen said with a smile, "I asked you to help me with the album. The specific situation is a bit complicated. Let's talk in person." He wanted to take this opportunity to meet his #1 hardcore supporter. "All right," Li Mubai said, "at 7:30 in the evening, come to the Ping and community on the second ring road of Beijing. Call me when you arrive." Of course, Lu Chen had no objections. He was very happy. This thing that had been planned for a long time finally had hope of success. Back in the private room, Lu Chen apologized to Wang Chongqing and others and asked Lu Shi to continue to accompany everyone for dinner. He returned to the studio first. There were bathroom facilities in the lounge of Lu Chen's studio. He took a quick shower to wash away the smell of alcohol, then changed into a set of clean and tidy clothes and went out. Because he had drunk in the evening, Lu Chen didn't drive himself. He stopped a taxi on the side of the road and rushed to the Ping and community. The taxi driver was a local, but anyone who often took taxis in the capital knew that the biggest characteristic of the local taxi drivers was that they were good at talking. They were knowledgeable about astronomy and geography, and they could talk about anything from the height of the temple to the distance of the pugilistic world. The middle-aged driver was the same. When he heard Lu Chen say that he was going to the Ping and community on the second ring road of Beijing, he immediately opened his mouth, and his saliva flew everywhere. The Ping and community was one of the earliest high-end communities in Beijing. The geographical location was extremely superior. 70% of the buildings in it were villas, and the people who lived in it were either rich or respectable. When the Ping and community opened for sale more than a decade ago, it set a new national record for housing prices at that time. Now, it had increased at least 10 times, and a large villa was worth at least hundreds of millions. Speaking of the housing prices in Beijing, the old driver sighed. He said that he was reluctant to buy a house at 5,000 yuan per square meter because it was too expensive. As a result, he couldn't buy a house in the same location for 50,000 yuan. He regretted it so much that his intestines turned green. Lu Chen listened to him talk all the way, and time passed quickly. Fortunately, the taxi did not encounter any traffic on the road, and Lu Chen arrived at the Ping and community at 7 o'clock. After paying the fare, he got out of the car and called Li Mubai. As a high-end community, the security of the Ping and community was very strict. Without a pass, Lu Chen couldn't get in. Li Mubai came out soon. This was the first time Lu Chen saw him in person. Li Mubai was 1 year younger than Lu Chen, and his height of about 1.75 meters was standard. He had short hair, and his appearance was not very handsome, but at least his facial features were regular, and his whole body was full of youthful vitality. The hip-hop style was very eye-catching. "Brother Chen." Seeing Lu Chen, Li Mubai ran over with a smile and opened his arms to give Lu Chen a solid hug. Lu Chen patted his back hard and said with a smile, "Li Mubai." Although it was the first time they met in person, the two had chatted many times on the internet, and they were quite familiar with each other. Therefore, it felt like a reunion of old friends who hadn't seen each other for many years. They were happy and excited from the bottom of their hearts. There was no strangeness or alienation. Li Mubai let go and said, "Let's go to my house. My big brother and third sister-in-law are already there." Lu Chen asked curiously, "You need to trouble your big brother with this matter?" The two chatted as they walked, and Li Mubai explained, "This matter is just a small matter for my big brother. But big brother has never cared about me, so I asked third sister-in-law for help. Third sister-in-law likes your songs very much, and she said that you are very talented, and my big brother loves third sister-in-law the most. This is called saving the country with a curve." His face showed a triumphant look, with an expression of, "I'm very smart. Please praise me."
Wait.
Lu Chen felt that something was wrong. Li Mubai's big brother didn't care about him. He asked third sister-in-law for help, and big brother loved third sister-in-law. The rich circle seemed to be a bit messy. Probably noticing Lu Chen's strange look, Li Mubai said with a smile, "Don't think the wrong way. I only have one big brother, but I have 3 sisters-in-law. He became a Taiwanese citizen in his early years, and third sister-in-law is from Taipei, Taiwan." Treasure Island people. Lu Chen suddenly realized. As early as 1967, Taiwan returned to the embrace of the motherland with Hong Kong. Together with Macau, which returned in 1969, it was one of the 3 special administrative regions implementing the policy of one country, 2 systems. The political system was different, and the laws of the special zones were also very different from those of China. The most typical one was the marriage law. The marriage laws of the 3 special zones all allowed polygamy. For example, He Liangwei, the famous gambling king of Macau, owned a 7-star Macau hotel and 3 luxury casinos. His business scope involved gambling, real estate, logistics, entertainment, and other industries, with assets of more than 50 billion. The most interesting thing about He Liangwei was not how much money he had, but that he had a total of 7 wives. In addition to the original wife, the other 6 included 4 misses from Macau and 2 misses from Hong Kong. He could be called a real winner in life. It was precisely because of the different marriage laws that many rich people in China tried to move to the 3 special zones. What they wanted was to marry more wives, enjoy the happiness of having multiple wives, and at the same time, expand the family and import more children. But after entering the new century, the feminist movement was on the rise, and the voice for the 3 special zones to abolish this unfair marriage system was getting stronger and stronger. Therefore, Taiwan and Hong Kong were planning to amend the marriage law and abolish polygamy. It was said that there was a lot of resistance. As they spoke, the two came to the front of a large villa in the community. The area of the Ping and community was very large, and there was an artificial lake in the center of the community. Villas were built around the lake, and they were scattered around each other, separated by green belts to ensure privacy. The villa of Li Mubai's family was 3 stories high, at least 600 or 700 square meters in size, and there was a small garden in front of the door. It was already dark, and the street lamps standing on the green field emitted a soft light, evenly illuminating the cobblestone path leading to the gate, and the surroundings were full of a quiet and serene scene. Li Mubai stepped forward and opened the door, and the magnificent hall inside immediately appeared in front of him. He saw a giant crystal lamp hanging from the dome was emitting thousands of rays of light, and it was as brilliant as a palace. Li Mubai made an invitation gesture to Lu Chen and said, "Brother Chen, welcome to my house." Lu Chen smiled slightly and said, "Thank you." Although Li Mubai's home was amazing, it was not enough to make Lu Chen lose his composure. When his family was not in decline, the place where his family lived was also a villa in the best community in Binhai. Although it was not as good as the house in front of him that was worth hundreds of millions of yuan, it was still considered to have enjoyed wealth. Lu Chen naturally stepped into the door. The living room was empty, and no one was there. Li Mubai said, "Big brother is listening to the 3rd sister-in-law playing the guqin in the tea room on the 2nd floor. I will take you up." Under his guidance, Lu Chen came to an elegant room on the 2nd floor of the villa. It was said to be a tea room, but in fact, it was more like a large study room. The decoration was completely Chinese antique. There were many calligraphy and paintings of famous people hanging on the wall, and there was a faint smell of tea in the air. He saw a man in a white gown sitting on a mahogany chair, listening to a woman in Cheongsam playing the guqin. Seeing Li Mubai and Lu Chen coming in, the man in the white gown raised his right index finger and made a gesture of silence. The graceful woman was very focused on playing the guqin. The sound of the guqin entered the ears like the sound of nature. It was a melodious and smooth song of xiaoxiang water and clouds. If people listened carefully, they would unconsciously enter the artistic conception of clouds and water reflecting the vast mist. Li Mubai and Lu Chen stood still until the woman finished playing the ancient song. And Lu Chen was surprised to find that he actually recognized the guqin player, who was Li Mubai's 3rd sister-in-law. Chapter 156. This musician is very beautiful. She is wearing a white cheongsam with blue patterns, which outlines her graceful figure. Her skin is ice and snow, and her eyebrows are picturesque. Her whole person seems to be like a blue and white porcelain that has been washed in the kiln fire, shining with a soft light that can't be ignored, elegant, gentle, and unstained by dust. Lu Chen recognized such an outstanding person at a glance, Su Daiwan. Su Daiwan is a native of Taipei, Taiwan. She was once very popular on the island. She made her debut at the age of 19 and won the championship of the Island Performing Arts Award. With her natural voice and outstanding appearance and temperament, she became a rising star. At the age of 21, Su Daiwan released her debut album, Light Snow for Sunshine, and at the same time pushed her singing career to the peak and was regarded as the future heavenly queen of the music industry. However, to everyone's surprise, only 2 years after her debut, when her career was brilliant, Su Daiwan suddenly retired from the pop music world and disappeared from the public sight. Except for a few insiders, no one knew why Su Daiwan gave up her career. There were many rumors at that time. Some said that Su Daiwan was kept by a rich man, some said that she had an incurable disease, and some said that she had become a monk. But no matter how many rumors there were in the outside world, Su Daiwan did not respond. 5 or 6 years have passed. Perhaps only a few diehard fans still remember her. In the Waves blog, there is also Su Daiwan's fan group V, with tens of thousands of followers. Lu Chen never dreamed that Su Daiwan was Li Mubai's third sister-in-law. The reason why Lu Chen knows Su Daiwan so well is that his first girlfriend is a loyal fan of Su Daiwan. There are promotional posters of Su Daiwan hanging in her boudoir, and the drawer is filled with various record versions of the album Light Snow, First Sunshine. Lu Chen still remembers the scene when his first girlfriend leaned against his arms and sang the song, Love Snow, in his ear. The sour and astringent taste could not help but emerge in his heart, and for a time, he was infatuated. Love Snow is the title song of Light Snow, First Sunshine, the most moving love song in the whole album. The sound of the zither lingers, and the song ends. The old friend is still there, and the past cannot be traced back. Mubai, is this your friend? A gentle voice brought Lu Chen back to his senses. Lu Chen couldn't help but turn his head. His eyes just happened to meet Li Mubai's elder brother's eyes. Li Mubai's elder brother should be in his 30s. He had sword-like eyebrows, bright eyes, and deep facial features. With a smile on his face, he had an indescribable, refined temperament. He was wearing an antique white gown, which looked extremely harmonious on him, like a character in a book. His gaze was calm with a hint of curiosity, making people unconsciously have a good impression of him. A gentleman is like jade. Lu Chen immediately thought of the most suitable adjective for the other party. Such a character was really compatible with Su Daiwan. But Lu Chen couldn't help but look at Li Mubai again. He really wanted to ask him, is this really your biological brother? Li Mubai held Lu Chen's shoulder and said, yes, he is Lu Chen, my best friend. Best friend? Lu Chen couldn't help but be stunned, but he still remained calm on the surface. He bowed slightly and said, hello, big brother Li. I came to visit at night. Please forgive me for being presumptuous. Li Mubai's elder brother smiled and said, you are Mubai's friend, so you are a guest at home. You don't have to be too polite. I am Mubai's elder brother, Li Morong. You can come and sit together. Li Mubai pulled Lu Chen, and the two of them sat down at the tea table. At this time, Su Daiwan came over, picked up the teapot, and made tea for Li Mubai first. Her movements were like floating clouds and flowing water, elegant and skillful, which was pleasing to the eye. Li Mubai picked up the teacup and smelled it, revealing an exaggerated expression. Third sister-in-law, the tea you make is fragrant, and the dishes you cook are even more delicious. I want to live in your house every day, but unfortunately, Big Brother doesn't want to. Su Daiwan pursed her lips and said with a smile, it sounds nice. If you really want to come and live, can your big brother not let you live? Li Mubai grinned and said, I'll be driven out by him if I stay for half a day. He asked Li Morong again, big brother, don't you think so? Li Morong shook his head speechlessly. He was obviously helpless against his rascally younger brother. Su Daiwan brewed another cup for Lu Chen. Lu Chen quickly said, thank you, Su. Ms. Su. Su Daiwan said with a smile, you're welcome. Just call me third sister-in-law, like Mubai. Her gentle and kind smile made Lu Chen's taut heartstrings relax. He said, third sister-in-law, my former girlfriend liked you the most. She was sad for a long time after you retired. Seeing Su Daiwan, Lu Chen remembered the past and couldn't help but say it. Su Daiwan put down the teapot, sat down beside Li Morong and said with a smile, if you see her again, apologize for me. Lu Chen smiled bitterly. Su Daiwan turned to look at her husband and said, in fact, you should blame him. It's all his fault. Although it was in a reproachful tone, the gentleness in her eyes seemed to overflow. It was Li Morong's turn to smile bitterly and raise his hand in surrender. Li Mubai took the opportunity to say, big brother, can you help him ask about Brother Chen? Li Morong declined to comment. He asked Lu Chen, can you talk about your project first? The smile on his face was still gentle, but there was a trace of sharpness in his eyes, which was the shrewdness of understanding the world. If a person with ulterior motives was stared at by such a gaze, he would inevitably feel guilty. But Lu Chen was very calm. Okay. He had come prepared. He had brought a copy of the project proposal that he had made with him. Lu Chen took out the copy and handed it to Li Morong. Li Morong was a little surprised. He didn't expect Lu Chen to be so well prepared. He took the printed paper and read it carefully. The project that Lu Chen wants to do has been brewing for a long time. Simply put, it is a fundraising platform, crowdfunding website. His inspiration comes from the dream world. The dream world also has a huge internet industry, which is not much different from the development of this world. Many things can be corresponded, such as QQ to QQ, WeChat to Feixin, Alipay to Yifubao, and so on. In China, 7 internet giants firmly control most of the network resources and wealth. Lu Chen's major in university was computer application. He was well aware of the difficulty of starting a business on the internet today. It was far from comparable to the previous period of rapid development. If there was no strong capital and excellent creativity and rashly rushed into this extremely competitive Red Sea, 99% of the result would be death without a burial place. Therefore, after acquiring the memory of the dream world, he focused on making money through original works and singing, and didn't think about tossing around in the IT industry. However, when Lu Chen decided to produce and release his first album, his inspiration was touched. As an independent artist, the biggest difficulty Lu Chen faces is that he doesn't have the support of an entertainment agency. It may be easy to produce and release albums, but it is undoubtedly difficult to not lose money or even make a profit. Lu Chen didn't want to lose money, so he thought of the advantage he had: more than 1 million fans. So, how can he make the most of this advantage to help the sales of his album? The crowdfunding platform is undoubtedly the best solution. The so-called crowdfunding refers to the mode of raising project funds from netizens in the form of group purchase plus advance purchase. It uses the characteristics of the internet and SNS to let small businesses, artists, or individuals show their creativity to the public, win people's attention and support, and then get the financial assistance they need. Compared with traditional financing methods, crowdfunding is more open, and the commercial value of the project is no longer the only criterion for obtaining funds. As long as it is a project that netizens like, they can get the first sum of money to start the project through crowdfunding, which provides infinite possibilities for more people with small businesses or creations. For example, independent artists like Lu Chen. In this world, the original prototype of crowdfunding has long existed, but there is no real internet crowdfunding platform. It's like a small gold mine waiting to be excavated. When his inspiration was touched, Lu Chen keenly felt that this was an excellent opportunity to give his career a greater opportunity to develop, and he immediately set about preparing for it. The Chinese and English domain names of crowdfunding, zhongqiu, and crowdfunding have all been successfully registered by Lu Chen, and he purchased a high-bandwidth independent server from a well-known internet service provider and worked with Chen Xiang to build the website. The structure of the crowdfunding platform is actually very simple. After registration and filing, apply the ready-made website template, add the corresponding functions, and then connect to Yifubao and online banking. A complete crowdfunding network is declared complete. With the memory in his dream as a reference, Lu Chen didn't spend too much time and energy in this regard. As long as he is willing, the crowdfunding network can be launched at any time. But there is still a big problem. From a technical point of view alone, there is no difficulty in the crowdfunding platform. It is just like an ordinary personal website, and anyone who has learned how to make a website can easily handle it. The key lies in creativity. How can Lu Chen ensure that his creativity will not be copied, imitated, or even invaded by others? This has to mention an internationally and domestically popular bill, that is, the Commercial Creative Copyright Protection Act. The Commercial Creative Copyright Protection Act was first born in 2005. It was a period of rapid development of the domestic internet, and it was also a period of barbaric and violent expansion of giants. Many potential emerging small companies, under the attack of these giants, either closed down or were swallowed up, which can be described as chaos. The most typical example is an interactive game called Thumb Elf, whose company, Shining Elf, quickly became popular and made a lot of money because of this game. However, Shining Elf Company's good times did not last long. QQ Games stared at this fat meat and quickly launched Finger Elf with the same model. With more sophisticated production and a large user base, it quickly defeated Thumb Elf. Shining Elf Company, a game company that was originally very promising, has since been unable to recover and finally ended in dismay. And similar examples were countless in that period. Chapter 157. From the day of the birth of capital, every pore is full of filth and blood. These two famous sayings perfectly explain the nature of business. The early expansion of the domestic internet industry was a bloody process of killing and annexation. It followed the law of the jungle, where the strong preyed on the weak. The few giants had all fought their way out of the Red Sea, and their bones were filled with the nature of wolves that devoured everything. They call it the rules of business. But the domestic political system determines that this unlimited and barbaric expansion must be curbed, because the result of the monopoly of giants is to a great extent stifle the spirit of innovation, making it difficult for small and medium-sized enterprises to gain a foothold. And the giants that grow up by swallowing the weak at home appear very weak in the face of foreign crocodile peers. This situation eventually aroused the vigilance and reflection of the upper echelons of society. After a difficult game, in September 2005, the Commercial Creative Copyright Protection Act was officially released as a supplementary regulation to the patent and copyright regulations. This regulation is aimed at the new internet-based industry, protecting the original business creative model of enterprises from plagiarism, imitation, and encroachment by others, thus promoting industrial upgrading and expansion, forming a good market competition atmosphere, and avoiding falling into a vicious cycle. The regulations stipulate that commercial creative copyright only accepts applications from enterprises, and after passing the review, a Creative Copyright Protection Certificate will be issued, with a validity period of 12 months. That is to say, give you a year of development time. After a year, you will face the cruel competition in the market. If you can't develop and establish an advantageous position during the protection period, then don't complain if you are defeated. After the Commercial Creative Copyright Protection Regulations were formulated and passed and implemented, the State Ministry of Commerce, the Ministry of Information Technology, and the General Administration of Copyright jointly established the Commercial Creative Copyright Protection Office, referred to as the Creative Protection Office. The Creative Protection Office is responsible for the approval, supervision, and arbitration of commercial creative copyright. The department is not big, and its power is not small. The implementation of regulations and the establishment of the Creative Protection Office have indeed protected the interests of small and medium-sized internet companies to a large extent, giving them room for survival and development. At present, 3 of the 7 internet giants in China have grown up under the protection of this regulation. There are also many small and medium-sized creative enterprises that have benefited a lot. It makes everyone dare to innovate and dare to innovate. Interestingly, due to the excellent results of domestic commercial creative copyright protection regulations, European and American countries facing the same problem have also adopted similar programs and established corresponding institutions. As early as a month ago, Lu Chun asked Lu Shi, in the name of Lu Chun Studio, to apply for creative copyright protection in the crowdfunding model to the Creative Protection Office, but so far there has been no news. It is not easy to apply for copyright protection. The Creation Protection Office is not the Greater China Music Library controlled by a supercomputer. It needs to be reviewed manually, and the process is naturally long. Also, due to some unclear factors, even if it was an original creative model, it might not be able to get the final approval. In the industry, this protection permit was also jokingly referred to as the Golden Permit. It was said that any company that obtained this certificate would immediately attract the attention of venture capital investors. Lu Chun didn't have the ambition to make a name for himself in the internet industry, but he didn't want to waste this great idea. Therefore, he asked Li Mubai to help him inquire about the progress of the review and see if there was any hope of it passing the review. If there was no hope, then he would directly operate the crowdfunding online and stop waiting. Li Morong finished reading Lu Chun's creative copy. He pondered for a moment and said, "Your idea for this project is very interesting, but does it involve private fundraising? Private fundraising is a minefield. The crime of illegal fundraising is very serious. The crowdfunding model is really similar. Lu Chen replied without hesitation. From the point of view of business and capital flow, crowdfunding is actually a form of group buying, which is essentially different from illegal fundraising. All project crowdfunding cannot be rewarded with equity or funds, and project sponsors cannot promise any financial benefits to supporters. They must be rewarded in kind, services, or media content. Support for a project is a purchase, not an investment. With a confident look on his face, he continued. For example, I want to make a record, launch crowdfunding on the platform, and call on fans to subscribe. As long as the funds needed for production and distribution are met, it will be declared a success. This model can also be extended to more levels, such as the development of new products, the production of records can be crowdfunded, the publication of books can be crowdfunded, the making of movies can be crowdfunded, and even charity relief can be completed through crowdfunding. For this project, Lu Chen rummaged through the memories he got in the dream world. Many details were firmly remembered by him, so in the face of Li Murong's questioning, his answer was watertight. This kind of confident confidence made Lu Chen show a certain temperament and charm that did not match his age. Su Daiwan, who was sitting next to Li Murong, brightened her eyes. She didn't know what to think of, but she nodded slightly, and a smile appeared in her eyes. Clap, clap. As soon as Lu Chen's voice fell, Li Murong clapped his hands. The Li family's eldest young master praised, "It's wonderful. This is the best new creative model I have heard in recent years." He turned to Li Mubai and said, "Mubai, of all the friends you know, only Lu Chen is really worth associating with. It's not in vain that I came here tonight." Li Mubai scratched his head and laughed a little stupidly. Lu Chen said with a smile, "Big Brother Li is too complimentary. In fact, it's just a small idea." Li Murong shook his head. "Even if it's a small idea, it also has gold value. The core of your crowdfunding platform's profit is the project commission, right? Then how to ensure the success of the project and the project sponsor will not run away with the money is probably the biggest problem. Strict project review is needed. You can't do it alone." The crowdfunding model is mainly composed of three parties: the project sponsor, the supporter, and the platform. If the crowdfunding fails, it is simple. Just return the money directly to the supporter, but if the project fails in the implementation process, it means that the supporter will not get any compensation. This is the platform's disclaimer, but the failure of the project will also hit the enthusiasm and confidence of the supporters, which means a loss of credibility for the crowdfunding platform. Li Murong's question can be said to have hit the nail on the head. Lu Chen said calmly, "Yes, because at present I set up this platform to serve myself. If I expand in the future, I will definitely introduce professional managers and work out more complete and secure terms." Li Murong nodded with satisfaction. Among the young people nowadays, there are very few who are as calm as Lu Chen and do things after careful consideration. He said with a smile, "I almost forgot that you are an artist." This is not a belittling but a compliment, because Lu Chen behaves more like a business elite. What's wrong with being an artist? As a result, Su Daiwan disagreed and said angrily, "I'm still an artist." Li Murong chuckled and didn't explain. He just gently held her hand, his eyes full of affection. Su Daiwan blushed and bowed her head shyly. Li Mubai finally couldn't help it and shouted, "Big brother, don't show your affection to sister-in-law. After saying so much, can you help or not?" This Li family's third young master's idea is very simple. Just say it or not. Why talk so much? Big brother is really not straightforward. With Li Murong's self-restraint, he couldn't help but glare at his younger brother. He thought about it and said, "Lu Chen, to what extent are you going to do with this project?" Lu Chen's heart moved and he said, "My original idea was to make a quick sum of money. If Big Brother Li is interested, you are very welcome to invest in it. Controlling shares is not a problem." Lu Chen originally planned to serve himself first after getting the gold life permit. If there is a venture capital that is interested, he will sell it as long as the price is reasonable. He believes that the money is enough to pay off his family's debts, and there is still excess. If Lee Morong is interested, that would be great. With the other party's family background and bearing, it is impossible to do anything to him by force. Even if the situation really happens, it's not a big deal to repay Li Mubai's favor. With the memory wealth of a world, Lu Chun is fearless. His dream has always been to stand on the brilliant highest stage, and it has never changed. But intuition tells Lu Chun that Li Morong may not be interested in it. Li Morong smiled and said, "I told you that Mubai has met a real friend. Well, you two can work together to run this crowdfunding platform. You can discuss the shares yourself." "What?" Li Mubai immediately jumped up and shouted. "I don't want to do it. How can I rob Brother Chen's shares?" "Sit down," Li Morong shouted. "What do you mean by robbing? You have to pay for your own investments and shares to help your friends start their career so that you don't have to drink and pick up girls all day. Look at what you have fallen into now. Besides, if you don't have a share, in what name will I get involved in this matter? Do you think the people in the Creative Protection Office are so easy to talk to that you can ask them to help with a meal?" Li Mubai suddenly wilted like a frosted eggplant. He sat down again, honestly, his eyes rolling. Li Morong sneered. "You don't want to be slippery. After investing and buying shares, the family won't give you money. You have to earn it by yourself. Otherwise, you will obediently listen to the family's arrangement and marry the one in the Wang family and have children." Li Mubai looked as if he had been struck by 5 thunders, and he had a look of no love in life. Li Morong gave him another fatal blow. "Mushi will return to China next month. This project will just let her practice and supervise you, by the way. In the future, there will be no shortage of your share in the family's business. You can't lose it all." Li Mushi, hearing the name, Li Mubai trembled all over and his face changed. He suddenly fell to the ground and hugged Su Daiwan's leg. Sister-in-law help. Chapter 158. Su Daiwan also can't save Li Mubai's life. Li Morong's meaning is very clear. He has no intention of investing in Lu Chen's crowdfunding website, but he wants Li Mubai to team up with Lu Chen to prevent him from idling around all day and damaging the Li family's reputation. Speaking of which, Li Mubai himself bumped into the door. Otherwise, Li Morong really wouldn't have found a suitable opportunity. "Aren't you loyal and want to help your friends? All right, then I'll do something serious." Li Morong belongs to the kind of person with extremely firm will. Since he has made up his mind, it's useless for Li Mubai to beg anyone, not to mention that Su Daiwan also supports her husband's idea. This makes Lu Chen feel a little guilty. Li Mubai was dragged into the water by himself, but he also thinks that Li Morong's approach is okay. Li Mubai has a very good character. He doesn't have the extravagance of a rich child, but if he squanders his money at home like this, he will also be crippled in the long run. As a friend, Lu Chen is pleased to be able to cooperate the crowdfunding website with Li Mubai. Because he came up with this idea first and foremost to serve himself, he has no intention or energy and strength to make it bigger and stronger. Li Mubai is different. Looking at his elder brother's demeanor, if he supports it from behind, as long as he gets the Creative Protection Certificate, he may be able to become another ID Photo. ID Photo is a famous image-sharing website in the United States. The founder is a technical otaku named Rodney. In 2010, he set up this personal website at home and has been independently maintained and operated by himself. By 2013, idPhoto's users had soared to 30 million, and then it was acquired by Windows for $1 billion, becoming a legend in the IT world. Lu Chun is familiar with the story of ID Photo. The inspiration of the crowdfunding website is not unrelated to this legend. Although he does not expect to become Rodney, it is not a dream to make a bucket of gold with crowdfunding. In addition to submitting an application for creative protection to the Creative Protection Office, Lu Chen also asked Lu Shi to submit the same registration documents to FSK in the United States and OKI in the European Union, which are currently awaiting review. The FSK was the American version of the Commercial Creative Copyright Protection Office, and its regulations covered Japan and Korea. Li Morong ignored his younger brother's wailing. He said to Lu Chen, "It's decided. I'll still say the same thing. You two friends should discuss and solve the specific shares by yourselves. It's best to set up a new company to specialize in operation and management. I'll let Mu sure help you. Lee Muron deliberately explained. Mushi is Mubai's sister. She just graduated from Wharton Business School this year. Wharton School of Business. Lu Chen couldn't help but think of Su Xian's smile. Wasn't she studying at Wharton? Lee Muron continued. As for creative protection, I'll take care of it. You don't need to worry about anything. Choose a time to launch the website first. If even I can't handle it, he didn't finish his sentence, but Lu Chen understood what he meant. If you can't even deal with Lee Morong, don't expect to get the all-important certificate. And if he can get the certificate, then there is no problem at all with the online crowdfunding operation first, who will pay attention to a small website that has just been launched. On the internet, there are countless websites that are opened and closed every day. Most importantly, Lee Morong seems very confident about this, and it is estimated that it will not be difficult to pass. Lu Chen said sincerely, "Thank you, Big Brother Lee." Lee Morong's solution is undoubtedly the most suitable for Lu Chen. In this way, he can be a hands-off shopkeeper. He doesn't need to worry about the online crowdfunding and can always focus his career on his acting career. Lee Murong smiled faintly and said, "I want to thank you for letting my younger brother have a serious job to do." Lu Chen was speechless. At this time, Su Daiwan asked softly, "Are you done talking about your business?" Lee Murong looked at his wife in surprise and nodded. "Yes." Su Daiwan smiled sweetly and said, "Then I have something to ask Lu Chen." "Lu Chen, do you mind?" Lu Chen quickly said, "I don't mind, sister-in-law." Su Daiwan blinked and asked, "Lu Chen, do you have a girlfriend now?" Lee Murong didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He thought his wife had something important to ask Lu Chen. But Su Daiwan obviously thinks this question is very important, and she is very serious. This question, Lu Chen felt a little embarrassed, but calmly replied, "Not at present." Su Daiwan asked, "Why not? A handsome and talented boy like you. There must be a lot of girls who take the initiative to pursue you, right? Isn't it too demanding? Or is it because you are an artist?" There was a faint smile in her eyes. Lu Chen is under a lot of pressure. To be honest, even when facing Lee Morong just now, he was not under so much pressure. After thinking about it, Lu Chen told the truth. "Sister-in-law, in fact, I don't have the idea of making a girlfriend for the time being. At present, I mainly focus on my career and want to make more money to help my family, so Lu Chen is not a stupid person. How can he not hear that Su Daiwan is trying to be a matchmaker for him? But he really doesn't have that idea right now." Lee Murong said, "Well, a man should focus on his career. If he is successful in his career, why would he be afraid of not having a girlfriend?" Su Daiwan rolled her eyes at him and continued to ask, "Listening to you, your family situation is not good?" After winning the championship of singing China, Lu Chen's family background has long been exposed on the internet, so he had nothing to hide and told Su Daiwan briefly. Su Daiwan was moved inside. "Auntie is really strong. If I have the chance, I want to visit her." Lee Murong also nodded. Keeping promises and women are not inferior to men. This moral character can make many people feel ashamed. Her husband left the family, and her life has fallen. Under the circumstances that it is difficult to maintain a livelihood, she can still insist on paying off huge debts. Such a promise and responsibility is not something that ordinary people can do. Su Daiwan's eyes softened. "Then you and your sister must have had a hard time, right?" Lu Chen said, "It was very hard in the past few years, but this year it's much better. I've made a lot of money." He looked at Li Mubai and said, "It's all thanks to Mubai's help." Li Mubai chuckled and stuck out his chest proudly. Su Daiwan pursed her lips and said with a smile, "I know you have a good relationship. I also know that you wrote a song for him called Li Bai and asked him to pretend to pick up girls, right?" Li Mubai, as if struck by lightning, suddenly said, "Sister-in-law, how did you know?" He thought that only he and Lu Chen knew about it. Su Daiwan glanced at him. "Don't insult everyone's IQ, okay?" Li Mubai wilted again. Su Daiwan knocked Li Mubai with a stick and asked Lu Chen, "I like your song very much. Was that song You Who Sat Next to Me written for your first girlfriend? Her eyes sparkled with a moving light, and she seemed to be very interested. Lu Qin said with a wry smile, sort of. First love is unforgettable. It is simple love, pure love. Some people will fight for their first love to the end, and some people have no choice but to say goodbye, but everyone will always remember their first love, because it is the most sincere feeling, without any distracting thoughts. When Lu Qin sang, You Who Sat Next to Me, he often recalled his first girlfriend. Su Daiwan smiled and said, She is my fan. Are you still in touch with her now? Lu Qin shook his head. I haven't been in touch for a long time. She moved to Xiangjiang with her family when she was in the second year of high school. Speaking of this, Lu Qin couldn't help saying, in fact, she prefers Taiwan and often says that she wants to live in Taipei. Taipei, Su Daiwan repeated the word softly, with a faint sadness in her eyes. I haven't been back for many years, but I often think of the rain in Taipei and the snow in Yangming Mountain. Lu Chen's heart moved and he said, Sister-in-law, I didn't bring any gifts when I came to visit you this time. I'll give you a song. Su Daiwan immediately brightened her eyes. Okay. The light that bloomed on her face was so dazzling that Li Murong, Li Mubai, and Lu Chun were all stunned. Li Murong reacted quickly and immediately held Su Daiwan's hand and glared at Li Mubai and Lu Chun. This is your sister-in-law. Don't think too much. Su Daiwan stood up happily and said, I haven't sung for a long time. Lu Chun, I'll accept this gift. Shall we go to the piano room and listen to you sing first? Do you know how to play the piano? Lu Chun originally wanted to go back and write the score and fill in the lyrics, and then let Li Mubai pass it on. He didn't expect that Su Daiwan could wait to hear it now. Of course, he didn't want to spoil the other party's fun, so he nodded at once. After all, it was a wealthy family. The villa where Li Mubai lived not only had a separate tea room, but also a large piano room. The piano room was next to the tea room. It was very clean and tidy. On the cherry wood floor, there was an amazing black horizontal grand piano. Lu Chen easily distinguished the golden harp logo imprinted on the lid of the grand piano, Steinway. Steinway is one of the most famous piano brands in the world, and the price is also astonishingly expensive. Such a Steinway usually appears in top orchestras and music academies. Several million yuan apiece. Lu Chun couldn't afford it even when his family was in the best condition. Su Daiwan smiled and said to Lu Chun, When I used to live here with your big brother, I often played the piano for him. I haven't touched this piano for a long time. She went to the front of the piano and stretched out her slender hand and slid it over the keys. The beautiful sound of the piano floated out like running water. Su Daiwan's face was full of memories and joy, as if she remembered many good things in the past. Looking at his wife, Li Murong's resolute face softened. After a moment, Su Daiwan said, Lu Chun, I'll listen to you now. Lu Chun nodded and sat down on the piano stool. He took a long and deep breath. Chapter 159. Lu Chun used to study the piano, but he didn't study it deeply. At most, he was at the level of level 4 or 5. Later, he switched to guitar, and the piano was naturally abandoned. It wasn't until recently that he picked it up again. Playing the piano is a very pretentious thing, and it is used as an excellent accompaniment, especially for romantic and lyrical songs. The accompaniment effect of the piano is not comparable to other instruments, so Lu Chun put in a lot of effort to practice. There's no need to reach a professional level. It's enough to bluff laymen. Most importantly, if you put aside your utilitarian heart, practicing playing the piano is actually a very happy thing. Listening to the beautiful piano music flowing through your fingertips, your mind can be sublimated. Lu Chun has never played such an expensive piano. The timbre of this Steinway is excellent. Even with his not very professional ears, he can hear the huge difference between it and an ordinary piano. Its bass is incomparably strong, its alto is warm and wide, and its treble is bright and gorgeous. In particular, its alto is the best, with a strong appeal and expressive power. It is worthy of the name of the piano emperor. Playing the Steinway, Lu Chun felt a lot of pressure. He was afraid that his bad skills would tarnish this million-yuan artifact. But he was still confident. When his fingers gently pressed on the warm keys, his mood quickly returned to peace. Then he played the prelude. Soothing, soft, uncomplicated structure, and the pleasant sound of the piano echoed in the piano room. The name of this song is Come to Taipei to Watch the Rain in Winter. Come to Taipei to watch the rain in winter. Don't cry in a foreign land. Come to Taipei to watch the rain in winter. Dreams are the only luggage. Come back softly and don't wake up the past. Just pretend that I've never been far away if we meet and hide the words in our hearts. No one knows you better than I do. The sky is still the sky. The rain is still the rain. There's no longer you under my umbrella. I'm still me. You're still you. It's just one more winter. When Lu Qin began to play and sing, Su Daiwan half leaned on Li Murong and looked at him with a smile. However, when she heard the first line of the lyrics, her delicate body couldn't help but tremble. There was a complicated look in her eyes. Come to Taipei to Watch the Rain in Winter is a lyrical song about a lost love. Although the mood expressed in the lyrics is a lingering sense of loss, revealing the singer's inner melancholy, but still able to face reality optimistically. The tune of this song was lyrical and calm, with a kind of simple and elegant beauty, which was very suitable for a female voice to sing. When Lu Qin sang this song, he weakened the melancholy and increased the sense of maturity and depth. With a slightly bitter but clear and smooth voice and the slightly lonely feelings in his heart, he performed the song with a different kind of charm. Because there was no amplification equipment, he deliberately lowered the sound of the piano, which also reduced the appeal of many works. But it still poked Su Daiwan's tears. Su Daiwan grew up in Taipei. Her family was not well off. She went out to work before finishing high school. Later, she was discovered by a star scout and entered the entertainment industry. With her excellent appearance and natural singing voice, her star future was extremely bright. But only she knew how difficult those days were. On the surface of the incomparably glorious life was hidden a dangerous current. Her father, who was addicted to gambling, her agent who had ulterior motives, the company she signed with was cold and heartless, and her competitors who were jealous of her. It was as if a mountain was pressing on her, making it hard for her to breathe. Recalling the past, Su Daiwan felt that she was so lucky. In her most difficult time, she met Li Murong, so they formed a lifelong destiny. She and he met on a rainy day. Li Murong took her and her sister back to the mainland to settle down, and she never returned to Taipei after she quit singing. Only in her dreams did Su Daiwan dream of the rain in Taipei and those who used to be familiar with her. It's hard to leave her homeland. Li Murong is not her first love either. Come to Taipei to watch the rain in winter. Don't cry in a foreign land. Come to Taipei to watch the rain in winter. Maybe I'll meet you. The streets are deserted, but the mind is crowded. There are memories in every corner. If we meet, there's no need to escape. I'll eventually pass by. The sky is still the sky. The rain is still the rain. I'm no longer familiar with this city. I'm still me. You're still you. It's just one more winter. Unknowingly, crystal tears fell from the corners of Su Daiwan's eyes, and she leaned weakly into Li Murong's arms. Li Murong hugged his wife and stared at Lu Qin with rather unkind eyes. This kid, did he do it on purpose? Fortunately, Lu Qin didn't repeat it after singing it once. Clap, clap. Su Daiwan straightened up, wiped away the tears on her face, and clapped her hands with a smile. Li Mubai also applauded. He didn't have the same feeling as Su Daiwan. He just felt that the song was good. As for why his sister-in-law cried, Li Bai wouldn't think about it. That's Big Brother's job. Lu Qin stood up and said, Sister-in-law, I'm really sorry. This song is not very suitable. He just felt something in his heart and suddenly thought of this song. He didn't think too much about it and took it out. Now that he thought about it, it felt a little inappropriate. No. Su Daiwan said without hesitation, This song is very good, very good. I like it. She looked at her husband and said coquettishly, You can't be unhappy. I've thought about it. I'm going to release another album. Li Mubai supported. Sister-in-law is mighty. Lee Morong couldn't help glaring at Lu Qian, the culprit, and said with a wry smile, "It's good that you like it." Lee Muro knew that Su Daiwan was actually very lonely with him. She had no relatives or friends on the mainland. After her sister went abroad, she was even more lonely. He was often busy with work and social activities and didn't have much time to accompany her. Su Daiwan only has him, and he has 3 wives. Most importantly, the two have been together for so long, but they haven't had children yet. The guilt in his heart made Lee Morong fade his resentment towards Lu Chen and agreed to her request without hesitation. Su Daiwan said happily, "After the album, I'm going to have another concert or a fan meeting. I wonder how many people still remember me now. Lu Chen helped me write 2 more songs." Lu Chen couldn't help looking at Lee Morong. "It seems to be a big deal." Su Daiwan hugged her husband's arm hard and said with a smile, "You promised me that you wouldn't interfere in my affairs. I'm going to get sick from boredom at home. Let's just look for a job. Okay?" The tears on her face were not dry, but her smile was as gorgeous as spring flowers, with a charming charm. Lee Murong sighed and said, "Can I say no?" Su Daiwan shook her head. "No." Lee Murong nodded. Li Mubai was eager to see the world in chaos. "Sister-in-law, if you release an album and hold a concert, I'll pull all my friends to support you." Lu Chun, however, had a feeling of opening Pandora's box and hurriedly said, "It's getting late. Brother Li's sister-in-law, I'll go back first." Su Daiwan reminded, "Don't forget to write songs for me." Lu Chun coughed twice and said, "Well, I'll write it and ask Mubai to give it to you." He winked at Li Mubai. Li Mubai was not too stupid after all. He immediately said, "Don't worry, sister-in-law. I'm responsible for supervising Brother Chen's songwriting. I'll take him back. It's not easy to get a taxi here." Li Murong waved his hand. "Go, go." He was a little annoyed to look at these 2 guys. Lu Chun was relieved and hurriedly followed Li Mubai to leave. Su Daiwan and Li Murong sent him to the door. After Li Mubai drove Lu Chun away, Su Daiwan asked Li Morong, "What do you think of Lu Chun?" Li Murong said in a bad mood, "Not so good." Su Daiwan was startled at first, and then immediately laughed and trembled. "You're not jealous, are you?" Li Murong had a sullen face and didn't speak. Su Daiwan was not afraid, because she knew her husband very well and knew that Li Murong was pretending on purpose. She said with a smile, "What do you think if I introduce him to Xiaoqian?" Li Murong was stunned and said, "You want to introduce Lu Chen to Qinqian?" Su Daiwan was a little unhappy. "What's with your expression? Isn't my sister good? Xiaoqian is so beautiful. She just likes to play. Lu Chen is tall, handsome, and talented. It's rare that he is also very steady and sensible. He should be able to control her." Chun Xian is Su Daiwan's younger sister, but Su Daiwan follows her father's surname, while her younger sister follows her mother's surname. Li Murong didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He never understood why women always like to matchmake for others. But introducing Lu Chun to Chun Xian, it sounds very interesting. He couldn't help touching his chin and said, "Okay, I'll listen to you. I'm afraid that Chun Xian doesn't like Lu Chun." Su Daiwan said confidently, "She will listen to me." Li Murong shook his head secretly. He suddenly bent down to pick up Su Daiwan and said, "Don't talk about them. Let's do our own things. We'll stay here tonight." Su Daiwan giggled. Her eyes were as soft as water, and the air seemed to have a charming taste. At this moment, Lu Chen didn't know that he was being remembered. He was riding in Li Mubai's sports car and galloping on the second ring road. Li Mubai said as he drove, "Brother Chen, you have to help me with the website. Big Brother is going to cut off my pocket money. I can't live like this." Lu Chen thought for a moment and said, "If you can get a protection certificate, the online crowdfunding is promising. In fact, you don't need to take care of it personally. At worst, you can hire a professional manager. Usually, you just need to pull business." In any business, early networking is very important. In the early stage of the online crowdfunding, as long as you can pull in a few powerful big customers and put the brand on the track, the later business will be very easy to do. Pull business? Li Mubai immediately relaxed. That's simple. I still have a lot of friends in Beijing. He knew that networking can make money, but he had never thought of making money by networking before. Lu Qin said with a smile, "We already have our first business. In a few days, my album will be on sale on QQ Music. I want to launch a crowdfunding campaign for the album at the same time, hoping to get a good start. After preparing for so long, the real test time is coming." Note: coming to Taipei to watch the rain in winter. Lyricist Li Ziheng / Wu Ruochuan / composer Jin Taizhong. Chapter 160. On September 5th, Lu Chen's debut album, You Who Sat Next to Me, was pre-promoted in QQ Music. This album, which took more than 2 months to complete, is undoubtedly the real business focus of Lu Chen's studio after its establishment. Its sales success or failure has a great impact on Lu Chen's status in the pop music world. No independent artist has released his first solo album so soon after his debut. As a newly famous singer-songwriter, Lu Chen's talent is beyond doubt. Many of his songs have been on the original music list, and the live version of the original works in Singing China has also frequently been on the QQ Music list. QQ Music, therefore, there are many people in the circle who are paying attention to the online sale of this album, but not everyone is optimistic about the sales of You Who Sat Next to Me. There are many negative voices in the Waves blog. First of all, Lu Chen did not make great efforts to promote and hype the album. He advertised in his blog, and the publicity position on the QQ Music website was also very ordinary, giving people the feeling that he was shy and reluctant to spend money. Nowadays, it's basically a fool's dream for artists to become popular without packaging promotion. If a new singer's album doesn't spend a lot of effort on publicity and hype, its sales are often very poor. Relevant stakeholders, such as websites and portal media such as QQ Music, will also intentionally or unintentionally ignore it and will not easily give free publicity resources. This is the unspoken rule in the industry. Like Lu Chen's original works in Singing China, many songs have been on the hit list and download list of QQ Music, but with the end of Singing China, they quickly fell off the list and disappeared. The reason is very simple. Lu Chen did not spend money on advertising in QQ Music. How could he occupy such important promotion resources for nothing? Being able to appear on the list is already a great deal of face. If QQ Music was not a partner of Beijing Television's Singing China, it is estimated that it would not have a chance to be on the list at all. This time, Lu Chen officially cooperated with QQ Music. The latter took away the exclusive sales rights, and a small advertising space still has to pay 100,000 yuan in real money. Under normal circumstances, with the power of the champion of Singing China, Lu Chen's album still has a lot of promise. But he just had to run into a few strong opponents. The first opponent, Cui Jingji, was the runner-up of Shonen TV Super Male Voice in 2014, signed to Orange Field Entertainment, and on September 1st promoted his debut album Provocation in QQ Music. This Chinese-Korean idol singer was the new artist being promoted by the industry giant Chengtian Entertainment. After nearly a year of brewing, his album is absolutely excellent. Its title song, Provocation, is currently ranked first on the QQ Music Network hit list, which can be described as aggressive. To Zhou Bei is the winner of the 2015 Ace Variety Show. She signed to Star Media, which happened to be the holding company of Starlight Show. Zhou Bei, a graduate of Huin, is a real talented woman. She also brought her debut album, Blooming Flower, which began to warm up on QQ Music on September 2nd. As for the third opponent, it is undoubtedly Lu Chen's old acquaintance, Ling Xiaoxiao. Ling Xiaoxiao performed poorly in the final of Super Singer and only got 5th place. Strictly speaking, his defeat really had something to do with Lu Chen. The fan groups of the two sides once fought to the death on Waves blog, and in the end, Lu Chen won. This time, Ling Xiaoxiao took his debut album, True Love is Invincible, to Lu Fei QQ Music against Lu Chen, which undoubtedly carried a strong taste of revenge. Ling Xiaoxiao's signing company is Jin Hongwei's Juxing Corporation. His solo album and Lu Chen's production time should be about the same, and the pre-promotion began on September 3rd. Four new artists and singers debuted their solo albums on QQ Music at the same time and carried out intensive publicity and pre-promotion at such a time. Such a situation has never happened in the history of QQ Music website. Generally speaking, unless it is a sworn enemy or deliberate hype, there is a tacit understanding between entertainment record companies and agencies. The debut albums of their artists will often stagger the publicity period to avoid the situation of fighting against each other. The competition in the pop music world is also very fierce. Every year, a large number of newcomers emerge. Those who are qualified to release albums are all characters promoted by various companies. No one wants to fight with their opponents at a critical moment. Killing 1,000 enemies may hurt oneself. 800. And Orange Field Entertainment, Starlight Media, and Jushin Corporation are all top or first-class companies in the industry. It can be imagined how fierce the scene will be when the three parties fight together. In fact, the main advertising space of QQ Music website has basically been divided up by the three companies, and in blogs, forums, post bars, and other places, their publicity offensive is very fierce. In contrast, Lu Chun is simply pitifully weak. To put it simply, after Lu Chun made his debut in Singing China and won the championship, he did not participate in any notices, nor did he shoot advertisements or hold fan meetings to brush his face. He was so low-key that he was simply not like an artist. Cui Jingji, Zhou Bei, and Ling Xiaoxiao. Which one of them is not promoting themselves everywhere? In today's fast-paced era, the ups and downs of star idols are very frequent. It is very easy for fans to like the new and dislike the old. Artists who do not often appear in entertainment news will soon be forgotten. Lu Chun has the strength, but if he doesn't take on any notices or hype up, the popularity that he has accumulated with great difficulty will soon be exhausted. Now is not the 1980s or 1990s, when a popular song can be sung for more than 10 or 20 years. Our biggest problem is that most of the songs in the album have resources on the internet. Lu Chun's studio, Lu Shi's manager's office temporarily served as a small meeting. Except for Chen Xiaomei, the receptionist, all the other members of the studio were present, including Li Mubai. Her sister rubbed her wrinkled eyebrows and said helplessly, "So fans won't have a strong desire to buy." Compared with the albums of Cui Jingji, Zhou Bei, and Ling Xiaoxiao, Lu Chun's album, You Who Sat Next to Me, is very transparent. All 10 songs can be found on the internet as free resources, lacking a sense of mystery and expectation. Big naturally reduces the desire to buy. Especially in the face of strong competition, many pop music lovers are likely to search for pirated content on the internet after Lu Chun's album goes on the shelves, and are more willing to spend money on the other three's new albums. Now, Lu Shi has become more and more involved in the role of studio manager and agent. She spends a lot of time every day to understand the news developments on the internet and in the circle, and racked her brains to come up with ideas for Lu Chun. She said, "I just received a call from the head of QQ Music Business, asking if we need to postpone the album's release time, so as not to collide with Cui Jingji." According to the agreement reached between the studio and QQ Music, You Who Sat Next to Me will be pre-promoted on September 5th and officially launched on September 8th. Cui Jingji's Provocation was also launched on the same day. This new generation of idol in the entertainment industry is not an ordinary figure. His father is a famous actor in China, and his mother is a well-known artist in South Korea, so he has a wide network and many supporters in the circle. Chung Tian Entertainment, which he signed up with, is a big company in the industry, with many star idols under its banner, and has a very close cooperation with Shonen TV, which is just short of wearing the same pair of pants. With connections and background, and the support of top companies, Cui Jingji is handsome and fashionable. He is a model of the Korean-style fresh meat that is very popular with young people at present. The fans of his Waves blog are close to 10 million. No matter how many real fans or zombie fans there are, in terms of popularity alone, he absolutely crushes Lu Chun. Cui Jingji's debut album can be said to be highly anticipated. But such a coincidence to collide with Lu Chun was very intriguing. It should be known that, generally speaking, the interval between the pre-promotion and the launch on the QQ Music website will not be too long. 3 or 4 days is the best, and 5 days is also fine, but Cui Jingji's publicity began on the 1st. Zhou Bei's album went on sale yesterday, and Ling Xiaoxiao's album is today. The people present smelled a strong smell of conspiracy. Li Feiyu, Chen Xian, and others couldn't help showing a worried look. Even Li Mubai, who has always been big, straightened his back and sat up straight. This third young master Li originally came to make himself known, but the debut of Lu Chen's album really has something to do with him. Because he is the core figure of Lu Chen's fan group, he is an indispensable existence. It's just that Li Mubai didn't expect that releasing an album would be so troublesome and involve so many problems. He couldn't help muttering, "Your circle is really messy." Well, this sentence was also told to him by Lu Chen. Everyone is not a fool. No one will forget the grievances between Lu Chen and Shonen TV. To say that it was purely a coincidence would be a bit of an insult to their IQ. Of course, a behemoth like Shonen TV may not care about Lu Chen at all, but as a partner, Qingtian Entertainment may not be so. They will certainly be happy to let Cui Jingji step on Lu Chen. On the other hand, Ling Xiaoxiao, who has had a direct conflict with Lu Chen, is not much of a threat because everyone knows what kind of goods he is, and the quality of his album is estimated to be unlikely to be very high. Lu Shi analyzed that Ling Xiaoxiao was involved, and most likely he wanted to take advantage of the situation to hype up. 4 new singers are fighting for the debut of their albums in QQ Music, which is undoubtedly a good hype hotspot. Jin Hongwei is a famous hype king in the industry. There are wolves in front and tigers behind, so how should Lu Chen face their challenges? Everyone's eyes were focused on him. Lu Chen was unexpectedly calm and said with a smile, "In fact, everyone thinks too seriously about the problem." His smile was still full of confidence. Chapter 161. Lu Shi, Chen Xian, Li Feiyu, Chen Xiang, and Li Mubai. Lu Chen's bright eyes slowly swept across the faces of all the people present. Some of them are Lu Chen's relatives, some are friends, some are former colleagues, and some are original fans. Due to fate, everyone sat here together and formed a small team. No matter what profession they used to be or what job they did, now everyone is a newcomer who broke into the entertainment industry. They lack enough experience and strength and are full of confusion about the future. What makes Lu Chen confident is the unity of this team. The current studio is like a seedling that has just sprouted, still very fragile, but the roots that support the tender leaves are flexible and full of vitality. Even in the face of the crushing of the big stone and the baptism of the storm, they still have the strength to persist. He is fearless. In fact, everyone thinks too seriously about the problem. Lu Chen said with a smile, "We don't need to defeat anyone. As long as this album is on the shelves and sells, it will be a success. And we don't need to try our best to compete with others for the sales list. The key is whether we can recover our costs. Our cost is very low. The production cost of the album, You Who Sat Next to Me, is unimaginable to most people in the industry. Generally speaking, the production cost of a qualified or even excellent complete album ranges from hundreds of thousands to millions. It is normal to exceed 1 million. If you add in the publicity cost, it can reach 3 or 4 million. And the entire production cost of You Who Sat Next to Me is only 100,000. All 10 songs were written by Lu Chen himself. He didn't need to spend a penny to buy songs from others, which saved at least hundreds of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of costs. It's normal for a songwriter with a good reputation to ask for tens of thousands of yuan for a song. Secondly, in terms of arrangement, accompaniment, and recording, Lu Chen did not choose a first-class production unit in the industry, such as a big company like Tianjai Workshop, but put it in the little-known Nirvana Studios. This saved hundreds of thousands of yuan. According to Lin Jijia, music director of Flying Stone Records, the real value of the album produced by Nirvana Studios for Lu Chen should be between 200,000 and 300,000 yuan. He got a big bargain. The production cost of 100,000 yuan is only equivalent to the price of an ordinary advertising space on QQ Music Network for 10 days. Plus this advertising fee, excluding labor, the cost is only 200,000 yuan. According to the contract signed between Lu Chen Studio and QQ Music, You Who Sat Next to Me will only be sold as an album and not as a single. The price for ordinary members is 10 yuan per album, and VIP members will get a 20% discount. The share between Lu Chin Studio and QQ Music is 50%, and 50%. Even if they sell at the price Chin Studio, Chin, and QQ Music, Zhang will sell the album to Chin. Such a profit margin is something that Cui Jingji, Zhou Bei, or Ling Xiaoxiao can't catch up with. They have invested millions of dollars in advertising for the album. Plus the production cost, they have to sell at least 400,000 to 500,000 copies to break even. That is a sales performance that is completely impossible to achieve unless they cheat. Of course, whether it is Cui Jingji, Zhou Bei, or Ling Xiaoxiao, it is impossible for the company they signed to think about recovering the cost by selling albums online. They mainly make profits through artists' commercial performances, advertisements, peripherals, and so on. Therefore, the goals of the two sides are different from the beginning. Lu Chen's requirements are not high. He is very satisfied with recovering the cost. As long as the reputation of the album is built up, his position and style in the circle will be improved, and there will be plenty of opportunities to make money later. Therefore, Lu Chen doesn't need to compete with them, nor will he desperately throw money to gamble. We just need to do our own thing. Lu Chen said to everyone. What does it have to do with Cui Jingji's album on the same day as him being strong? Our goal is to sell 50,000 copies. If we reach 50,000 copies, we will win. 50,000 is a piece of cake, Li Mubai said disapprovingly. Lu Jiejun has more than 50,000 members. There are more than 1 million fans in the live broadcast room, and there are still 5 million followers in the Waves blog. Lu Chen shook his head with a smile. In addition to Lu Jiejun's hardcore fans, it is completely unknown how many fans in the live broadcast room and Waves blog can be converted into paying users, especially since the number of blog fans is extremely high. The number of followers of his Waves blog exceeded 5 million, meeting the basic requirement of a big V, but passers-by accounted for most of them. Many of them were attracted by the last two blog battles and were not real fans. It would be naive to expect these passers-by fans to pay for songs. Of course, with the support of Lu Jiejun's hardcore fans, there should be no problem with 50,000 sales. Compared with the online sales of QQ Music, Lu Chen is actually more concerned about the album, which is really cool.
Drop.
At this time, Lu Shi's cell phone on her desk suddenly rang. She picked it up and checked it, and then turned on her computer. Xiaomei said there's news for us to see. Sister Xiaomei, Chen Xiaomei, works as a receptionist in Lu Chen Studio. In her spare time, she also helps Lu Shi search and browse the internet, especially the gossip news and insider news in the entertainment industry. She now sent a video link to Lu Shi's QQ. Cui Jingji's Lu Shi clicked on the link and turned the computer screen around for everyone to see. The source of the video is the Waves Entertainment channel. The content is an exclusive interview with Cui Jingji by a reporter from Waves. Waves is one of the largest portals in China. It has two advantage resources, Waves blog and Waves games. Therefore, the entertainment channel of Waves has a great influence in the entertainment industry. But it is not easy to get an exclusive interview with Waves. Unless you have real talent, you must pay for it, which is also an important part of publicity and hype. On the 27-inch HD screen, Cui Jingji is talking to the microphone of an entertainment reporter. The Waves entertainment reporter asked, Mr. Cui Jingji, I heard that your debut solo album is about to be released, right? Cui Jingji said with a smile, Yes, it will be released on QQ Music on the 8th of this month. You're welcome to subscribe and buy. Cui Jingji is 20 years old this year, 2 years younger than Lu Chen. He first worked as a trainee in South Korea's KG agency for 3 years, and then returned to China to officially make his debut. Last year, he participated in Shonen TV's Super Male Voice talent show for the first time, and Cui Jingji won the runner-up title. He can sing and dance and has a strong Korean star temperament, so he was loved by many boys and girls. Waves entertainment reporter, So, what's the style of your album? Cui Jingji replied without hesitation. Passion and enthusiasm can make everyone's heart beat faster. 4 of the 10 songs were written by me. I believe it won't disappoint everyone. The Waves entertainment reporter said with a smile, Everyone says that you are a very talented singer and songwriter. As far as I know, Lu Chen, the champion of this year's Singing China, will also debut his album on QQ Music on the same day. Do you have any pressure? Hearing the Waves entertainment reporter's obviously provocative question, everyone finally understood why Sister Xiaomei wanted to send this interview video to Lu Shi. No pressure at all. Cui Jingji smiled confidently and said, Lu Chun is a very strong singer and songwriter, but I am better than him, and my album is better, so the winner must be me. He's so crazy. Chen Xian couldn't help saying, he doesn't put Brother Chen in his eyes. Li Mubai clenched his fists. This guy, Cui Jingji, was indeed crazy, and he was not just confident, as if his character was like this. But in the eyes of his fans, Cui Jingji was sincere and not hypocritical. He said what he wanted to say, without hypocrisy. But if they really thought that he was not scheming and stupid, then they were wrong. The new artist who returned from South Korea knew how to look at the dishes under the pot. When he should be modest, he was still very modest. As for Lu Chun, he was obviously not the object of his modesty. The Waves entertainment reporter obviously liked this topic very much. He further asked, why are you so sure? Several songs in Lu Chen's album have good reviews. Cui Jingji nodded and said, the songs he wrote are good, but they are really out of date. They belong to the nostalgic style of the 1980s and 1990s, and I know what songs young people like me really like. What the F***, CK. Li Feiyu's lungs were about to explode with anger when he heard this. It's so shameless. What he said was not bad, but in fact, he directly stepped on Lu Chen's soles. Anyone could hear the sarcasm in his words. It was fine to say this to others in private, but in a public interview, he was so arrogant. Not to mention Li Feiyu, Li Mubai, and others. Even Lu Chen frowned. Even a clay figurine has 3 points of anger. If he was still indifferent when someone stepped on his head, what kind of man would he be? Lu Chun was not a teenage mutant ninja turtle. Chen Xiang said angrily, I used to like him, but now I know how annoying he is. Lu Shi's face was sullen. He is deliberately hyping up the topic. After a period of study and research, her sister has a basic understanding of all kinds of hype tricks in the entertainment industry. She could see at a glance what Cui Jingji and Waves Entertainment were doing. Such a method of hyping up could be considered to be very carefully controlled. But it was also unbearable. The key was that Cui Jingji was not afraid of being talked about. He had full confidence that he could beat Lu Chun in sales. With so many advertisements smashed down, Lu Chun could be smashed to death. The winner was not condemned, and fans would only praise him. Lu Chun suddenly smiled and said, it seems that we really have to be serious. Sister, then let's also spend some money on online hype. No, it's publicity. Originally, Lu Chun didn't want to spend too much money on the promotion of this album, but now his idea has changed. Lu Shi's eyes suddenly lit up. Do you have any good ideas? Lu Chun said, let me think about it first. His eyes stared at Cui Jingji, who was in high spirits on the screen, and a little coldness appeared in his eyes. Since you want to fight, then let's fight to our heart's content. Chapter 162. On September 6th, the second day of Lu Chen's debut album, You Who Sat Next to Me, on QQ Music. At 9:10 in the morning, a small V with the ID, Entertainment Gossipy Man Lu Chen FMX in a blog post on Waves blog. The content was a video clip of yesterday's interview with Cui Jingji on Waves Entertainment channel. While Lu Chen, Entertainment Gossipy Man added a smiley face symbol that represents bad intentions. Entertainment Gossipy Man is a little-known ID on Waves blog, with more than 1 million followers. He specializes in reposting all kinds of gossip news in the entertainment industry on his blog and can post hundreds of blog posts a day. The people have a fondness for gossip, especially the big and small things in the entertainment industry, which has always been the focus of public attention. This small V has taken a fancy to the market that exists in it. He has been tirelessly sorting out and moving entertainment news all year round, and his popularity on his blog is actually very good. What he likes to do most is to at the parties involved in the gossip news on his blog. Although most star artists will ignore this entertainment gossipy man, there are always exceptions. 5 minutes later, Lu Chen replied, "Come to fight." 3 simple words, plus an exclamation mark, made the entertainment gossipy man dumbfounded. He knew all 3 words, but when they were combined, he didn't understand. What was "come to fight"? This small V felt very interesting, so he posted another blog post, asking what "come to fight" meant. He Lu Chen FMX again. But this time, Lu Chen ignored him and did not reply. However, there were still many fans of the entertainment gossipy man. Seeing this special blog post, they all replied with speculations. There were many kinds of answers, and some of them were so imaginative that people couldn't help laughing. But soon, someone explained that it should be the abbreviation of "come to fight," according to the content of the previous and subsequent blog posts. The entertainment gossipy man suddenly realized and sent 3 laughing emojis in a row, while Lu Chen FMX and Cui Jingji. His intention was obvious. He wanted to provoke a fight between the two. Unfortunately, neither Lu Chen nor Cui Jingji paid attention to him. However, the term "come to fight," which had a different meaning, was being reposted everywhere on Waves. Lu Chen has more than 5 million fans on Waves blog, and Cui Jingji has more than 9 million fans. Both of them made their debut in talent shows. One is the runner-up of Shonen TV's Super Male Voice, and the other is the champion of Singing China. Moreover, both of them were very young and talented, and they were going to release their albums on the same website on the same day. This undoubtedly had the hot elements of entertainment gossip. Therefore, many people, including the verified V accounts, reposted the blog post of Entertainment Gossip Man, spreading Cui Jingji's provocation and Lu Chen's response to more places. Fans who were familiar with Choi Young-chi knew that this Chinese-Korean idol was very direct with his words. He was arrogant and would never admit defeat. It was completely reasonable for him to think that he could easily defeat Lu Chen. However, Lu Chen's response was truly shocking. As a new independent artist, Lu Chen gave everyone the impression of being modest and polite. Even if others provoked him, he would not object fiercely and would use facts to prove himself. But today, his answer to Cui Jingji's provocation was full of courage. "If you want to fight, then let's fight to our heart's content. No silence, no patience, no modesty, no arrogance." These 3 simple words were so sonorous and powerful. The group of people who often read blogs were mainly young people. Most of them were at the age of rebellion and impulsiveness. Therefore, under the deliberate exaggeration and dissemination of some people, this fresh word had more and more influence on blogs and quickly spread into forums, post bars, and QQ groups. And it was Lu Chen's fans who really heated up the word. After many members of Lu Jiejun learned the ins and outs of the matter, they were all filled with righteous indignation. Without anyone to organize and encourage them, they logged into their own accounts, went to Cui Jingji's blog, post bars, and related forums, and left a domineering declaration of "come to fight." Of course, Cui Jingji's fans couldn't stand it and immediately fought with Lu Jiejun's fans. September 6th happened to be Sunday, and there were too many people who had nothing to do. As a result, the word became more and more popular. That night, "come to fight" appeared on the hot search term list of Waves' blog. Thousands of blog netizens therefore knew about Lu Chen, the showdown between him and Cui Jingji, and the album, "You Who Sat Next to Me," which will be released on the 8th. Just when this hot word appeared on the homepage of Waves' blog, Wang Ye just clicked on a post in dormitory 307 of the graduate building of Beijing University of Technology. As the moderator of the Beihai City Forum, student Wang Yu really liked this part-time job. When his roommates went out with their girlfriends to romance, he would sit upright in front of the computer, like a dignified lord patrolling his own territory. Once he discovered any disharmonious situation, he would decisively block it. Sometimes, he would enthusiastically help rookies who had just come to the forum and enthusiastically answer daily questions. He was praised for his conscientious work and obtained great satisfaction from it. Opening this new post that had just been posted on the Free World section, to be honest, Wang Yu was disgusted. Because this post was a promotion post, and it was an official promotion post. Beihai City Forum, also known as Beihai University Town Forum, has a history of 20 years. It is a well-known college student BBS community in the country. It is famous because it gathers a large number of Capital University students. A BBS community can exist for such a long time. First of all, it needs a steady stream of capital investment. It must be realized through advertising and other means to achieve profits or subsidize operating expenses. Official promotion posts are also a way for the website to make money. The reason why the forum vigorously blocked those external advertising posts and promotion posts, in addition to maintaining the normal order of the community, is that the most important reason is that the fertile water does not flow into the field of outsiders. As a moderator, Wang Yu has the obligation to protect this kind of post and keep it at the top of the page. As a moderator of Beihai City Forum, in addition to satisfying the needs of his heart, he also gets subsidies. Despite this, Wang Yu still doesn't like official promotion posts. He feels that every time he opens this kind of post, a sacred place in his heart is tarnished once. Well, although Wang Yu is a science and engineering man, he has a literary heart. The most touching voice of this year's graduation season. I cried. What about you? Just looking at the title of the post, Wang Yu had goosebumps all over his body. He completely pinched his nose and opened it, ready to routinely add essence to the top. However, the next moment, Wang Yu was stunned, because he found that he knew the character in the frozen picture of the video attached to the post. And he was very familiar with it. Lu Chun, the champion of singing China. Wang Yu first knew Lu Chun, not in this popular reality show, but in a forum a few months ago called At Hohai Bar in the Evening, I Found a Handsome Guy and a Very Nice Song. Post. At that time, this post caused a lot of controversy in the Free World section. This was the first time that Wang Yu heard Lu Chun sing. He sang You, Who Sat Next to Me. He added the medal of moderator recommendation to this post. In the forum section, if a post is added with the medal of moderator recommendation, it will automatically be pinned to the top for 24 hours so that all people who browse the post can see it. This kind of high-level medal is not unlimited. Wang Yu's authority is 10, which means that he can only add the moderator recommendation medal to a post 10 times a month. Most importantly, once a recommendation post is pinned, it will be judged by countless people. Therefore, moderators who cherish their feathers and value their reputation will never easily give out a recommendation medal, even if it's an official promotion post. Because of this song, You Who Sat Next to Me, Wang Yu knew about Lu Chun the bar sing. Later, he saw him again in the Singing China competition and followed it all the way. In the end, Lu Chun won the championship of Singing China, and he was so excited that he drank 2 bottles of beer to celebrate. Now that he saw that this official promotion post was actually related to Lu Chun, Wang Yu immediately chose to play it. The picture of the video was very clear. It was obviously not shot with a mobile phone. The background displayed in the picture let him know that this was a video clip of Zhonghai University's 2015 graduation party. Lu Chun stood on the big stage with his guitar in his arms, and the huge screen behind him was showing the words, "Those flowers." Those flowers. Wang Yu almost jumped up. He heard Lu Chun sing this song in Singing China. He liked it very much at that time. Later, he downloaded the live version of the audio file from QQ Music Network and kept it in his mobile phone. This was the first time he had seen this video. That laughter reminds me of my flowers, quietly blooming for me in every corner of my life. I once thought that I would stay by her side forever. Today we have left in the vast sea of people. A moving singing voice quietly drifted into Wang Yu's ears. Unlike the Singing China competition, Lu Chun used a guitar to accompany him at the graduation party, and the sound quality was certainly incomparable to the live version recorded with professional equipment on Beijing television. But listening to this familiar song, watching Lu Chun playing and singing alone in the spotlight, and watching the changing picture on the screen behind him, those beautiful, lovely, innocent, and enthusiastic girls appeared and disappeared. His heart felt like it was being gripped by an invisible hand, and even his breathing stopped. Lu Chun's singing drifted in the auditorium, and the camera turned to the auditorium. Many girls were crying. They either sobbed alone, or hugged and comforted each other, and wantonly vented the emotions that were aroused in their hearts. Wang Yu could feel the atmosphere of the scene through the video. The kind of sad atmosphere that was so strong that it made his nose sour and the corners of his eyes dry. When the picture came back, Lu Chen's eyes were already wet with tears on the stage, but he still had a faint smile on his face. He sang so emotionally that his singing voice was choked. Wang Yu felt that he sang much better than in Singing China. The moderator of the Beihai City Forum, without hesitation, pinned the post and sent a recommendation medal. It doesn't matter whether it's an official promotion post or not. Chapter 163. Capital International Airport. A Boeing 747 was steadily parked on the tarmac. This CA-897 flight had just completed a 13-hour flight from New York to Beijing in the United States. In the arrival hall on the first floor of Terminal T1, Lu Chen, Lu Shi, and Li Mubai were standing in the crowd. They came to welcome Li Mubai's sister, Li Mushi, back to China. After a while, a large number of passengers appeared in the front passage, making the entire arrival hall noisy. Sister. Li Mubai found a familiar figure among the passengers and quickly waved to greet her. It was a beautiful woman in her 20s, with phoenix eyes, willow leaf eyebrows, bright eyes, and white teeth. She was wearing a new beige Chanel autumn dress. Her figure was graceful and slender, and her pair of long legs were particularly eye-catching. From the frequent glances of the surrounding passengers, it could be seen that she was an outstanding person. Li Mushi, Li Mubai's second sister, a graduate of the Wharton School of Business. Although it was a long-distance international flight, Li Mushi still looked energetic, without the slightest bit of fatigue. Hearing Li Mubai's greeting, she turned her head, and a charming smile appeared on her pretty face. Dragging the dark blue suitcase, Li Mushi walked out of the gate and quickly came in front of Lu Chen and the others. Little Bai. She put down the suitcase and suddenly stretched out her hands, grabbing Li Mubai's cheeks with lightning speed from both sides. She pinched her brother's cheeks hard and asked with a smile, "Do you miss me very much?" Ouch! 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 Li Mubai grimaced in pain and didn't dare to struggle. He could only vaguely beg, "I know I was wrong." Li Mushi let go of his hands and asked with a faint smile, "What did you do wrong?" Li Mubai cried and rubbed his face, saying, "Sister, let's talk about this at home. First, let me introduce you. This is my good friend, Lu Chen." "Hello." Li Mushi took the initiative to extend her hand to Lu Chen and smiled.
"Nice to meet you."
In front of Li Mubai, she was a queen-like sister, but in front of Lu Chen, she turned into a capable white-collar elite. "Welcome back." Lu Chen shook hands with her with a smile and introduced his sister at the same time. "This is my sister, Lu Shi." Li Mushi's smile suddenly became extremely charming. She opened her arms and hugged Lu Shi tightly. "When I was in the United States, I wondered what kind of person you would be. Now I finally meet you. I'm not disappointed." She leaned over and kissed Lu Shi on the cheek. Lu Shi didn't expect her to be so enthusiastic. She was stunned for a moment before responding, "Hello." The two had made many overseas phone calls before and discussed online about the crowdfunding. Li Mushi and Lu Shi were of the same age, and their majors were the same, so they naturally had a lot of common topics. So, although it was the first time they met in person, they were not strangers. Lu Chen helped carry the suitcase, and everyone left the terminal together. Li Mubai drove his all-electric Porsche F17 four-door sports car. After getting in the car, Li Mushi looked at the interior and said, "Xiaobai, this sports car cost millions, didn't it? Now your family has cut off your pocket money and you can't afford it.
Give it to me at a 30% discount."
Although the Porsche F17 is an electric car, the usual maintenance and insurance costs are still very high. If the paint of this luxury sports car is scratched, it will cost more than 100,000 yuan to repaint the whole car. Li Mushi's teasing really poked Li Mubai's sore spot. He and Lu Chen teamed up to set up the crowdfunding website. All the funds were provided by their family, but as a condition, Li Mubai would have to be self-reliant in the future. If the crowdfunding website made a profit, he could get dividends. If it lost money, he would have to starve. And this matter was not negotiable. If Li Mubai got on the boat, he wouldn't be able to get off. He said with a bitter face, "A 30% discount is too ruthless. Sister, if you want it, I'll give you a 50% discount." After the family's financial support was cut off, the dignified third young master, Li, really couldn't afford a sports car. If Li Mushi was willing, he was really willing to sell it. It's just that a 30% discount is too much of a loss. It's basically a new car. Li Mushi said there was no discussion. Lu Chen, who was sitting in the front passenger seat, listened and felt that the siblings were very interesting. Lu Shi always felt that Li Mubai's sister was a little strange, but she couldn't tell exactly why. But Li Mushi's character was undeniable. She didn't have the slightest bit of the spoiled rich girl. She was hearty, generous, and beautiful. Talking and laughing all the way, the four people came to Lu Chen's studio in Creative Park together. Although the idea of the crowdfunding platform was created by Lu Chen, the registration of the website and the application for creative protection were also in the name of the studio. However, after cooperating with Li Mubai, the crowdfunding website will be spun off to form a separate company. The Li family is very powerful. They actually rented a 500 square meter office building on the 29th floor of the same building as the headquarters of a new company, which has just begun to be renovated. Li Mushi has just returned to China. She didn't rush home immediately. She proposed to visit the studio and the new company first. According to the results of the joint consultation between Lu Chen, Li Mubai, Lu Shi, and Li Mushi, Lu Chen accounted for 51% of the shares of the crowdfunding website and served as the legal representative of the company. Li Mubai invested $5 million in cash, holding 49% of the shares and serving as the company's business manager. This is equivalent to the Li family's valuation of the crowdfunding website reaching $10 million. Such a valuation can be said to be very kind, and it fully takes into account the friendship between Lu Chen and Li Mubai. Otherwise, it would be impossible for Lu Chen to get such a high valuation in any venture capital by providing only an idea, and it was more likely that he wouldn't even get a penny of investment. Moreover, the Li family is also responsible for the application for creative copyright protection. As a condition of cooperation, Li Mushi will serve as the first CEO of the crowdfunding website, responsible for the daily operation and management of the website. Lu Chen was actually very satisfied with this result. His original intention was to use the crowdfunding website as a channel platform for his own career. He never thought of investing a lot of time, energy, and money in the website to make it bigger and stronger. So, being a hands-off shopkeeper is his best choice. After taking a quick look around and returning to the studio, Li Mushi asked about Lu Chen's album. Lu Chen's debut album will also be the first project of the crowdfunding website. "My album will be on QQ Music tomorrow," Lu Chen said. "Tomorrow is also the official launch of the crowdfunding website. I'm still a little confident about my own project. The goal of pre-funding is 500,000, mainly for crowdfunding from fans." "It's good that you have confidence." Li Mushi nodded and said, "My big brother believes in you very much, and I'm also optimistic about this crowdfunding platform. I hope we can cooperate happily in the future. I'll come back tomorrow." Lu Chen said with a smile, "Okay, thank you for your hard work." Li Mubai sent Li Mushi home. At the time of parting, Li Mushi took Lu Shi's hand and said a lot. The brother and sister returned to the office. Lu Chen noticed that Lu Shi's look was different and couldn't help asking, "Sister, what's wrong?" Lu Shi said with a wry smile, "Nothing. Maybe I'm a little paranoid. Let's pay attention to the situation on the internet first." Lu Chen didn't think too much about it. He turned on the computer and logged into his blog. In just over a day, his blog fans have increased by 300,000, and they are all active fans. This is the result of promotion and hype on the internet. Originally, Lu Chen didn't intend to invest much in publicity on his album, You Who Sat Next to Me. On the one hand, the studio doesn't have much available funds at present, and every penny should be saved and not used indiscriminately. On the other hand, the capital investment in media publicity is a bottomless pit. At present, he doesn't take on any notices or commercial performances. Apart from piling up the cost of the album, It doesn't make much sense to spend money in this area. Maybe he will lose money in the end. Lu Chen's album was first to show off, to prove his strength with a well-produced record, and at the same time to improve his position in the circle so that he would have sufficient confidence to cooperate with other companies. Tian, that's right. Compared with the online sales of QQ Music, Lu Chen attaches more importance to the release of CD records. The crowdfunding website was born for CD release. But Cui Jingji's provocation succeeded in arousing his anger, or more accurately, his fighting spirit. He has been severely slapped in the face. If he doesn't fight back, how can he talk about his position and reputation in the circle? So, with the help of Chen Jianhao, Lu Chen found an online marketing company to carry out publicity and promotion. His action was actually a little late. Originally, online marketing needs time to brew, and it will go on sale tomorrow. Starting to hype now seems to be a bit of a last-minute effort, and the effect will be much worse. That's what the online marketing company said, but Lu Chen has his own ideas and insistence, and he also provided the other party with 2 materials that can be used for hype. The first material was the 3 words "come to fight," which was hyped up as a hot word on the internet, directly unveiling the grievances between him and Cui Jingji to attract the attention of passers-by fans. The second material was the video of the graduation party that Lu Chen asked from the publicity office of Zhanghai University. This video has been available for a long time, but it hasn't been touched before. He cut out the footage of his singing at the party and handed it over to the marketing company for promotion. The focus was on major forums and post bars to attract the attention of young people, especially student groups. In today's internet age, most of the hot events on the internet have a behind-the-scenes driver. It is impossible to promote his album on a large scale in a short period of time by relying solely on Lu Chen's own strength and the help of his fans. For this reason, the cost of Lu Chen's album has more than doubled, but the effect is really good. Whether it's the hot word "come to fight" or the video post of the graduation party, it is spreading like a virus in blogs, post bars, forums, and QQ groups. It is believed that with the passage of time, the effect of promotion will get better, and eventually Big will boost the sales of the album. Of course, this is the ideal state, and the specific results have yet to be tested. Starting tomorrow, at 7:00 p.m. on September 8th, Lu Chen's debut solo album, You Who Sat Next to Me, went on sale in QQ Music. Chapter 164. The domestic internet began to germinate in the late 1990s and flourished after entering the new century. Now it has become a huge trillion-level industry, which can be called one of the pillars of the economy. The advent of the internet era has also profoundly changed the world's economic pattern, which has had a great impact on many traditional industries. Many industries have declined or even disappeared as a result. The record industry is one of them. When portable audio music players were born and then integrated into smartphones, the traditional record industry entered an irreversible period of decline. Many record companies have transformed and entered new entertainment and new media on a large scale. Singers in the 1980s and 1990s could make a lot of money by relying on a big selling record. Nowadays, the new generation of idol artists release records at a loss, just to brush up their appeal and popularity, and then recover their costs through peripheral products, advertising endorsements, announcements, performances, etc. Therefore, online sales have become one of the main business channels of entertainment agencies. Major music websites such as QQ Music, EasyNet Music, and so on are important battlefields for singers and artists. Moreover, the sales performance of the 4 domestic music websites is calculated into album sales, thus producing the new era of Gold Record, Platinum Record, Diamond Record, and Crown Record. Online sales plus actual sales of more than 100,000 and certified by the Chinese Musicians Association can be awarded the achievement of Gold Record. If sales reach 500,000, it is Platinum Record, and if sales reach 1 million, it is Diamond Record. As for the highest honor, Crown Record, the sales requirement is 5 million. The music websites certified by the Chinese Music Association include QQ Music, EasyNet Music, Pop Radio, and The Voice of China. The certified physical store sales of CDs are limited to Xinhua Bookstore, and online sales on eBao are not included. The reason is very simple. It is too easy to falsify the sales performance on eBay, and the cost of falsification is very low. It is impossible for the Chinese Music Association to ask such a behemoth as eBay to cooperate with them, so they simply give up. As for the 4 major music websites and Xinhua bookstore, although they can also spend money to brush up sales, the cost is much higher. Therefore, the authority of the Chinese Music Association certification is the highest in China. Every Monday, the Chinese Music Association will announce the top 50 record sales in China on its official website, as well as the list of certified gold, white, and diamond records. For most singers, it is enough to be proud to get the achievement of gold record. And in the judging criteria of first-class singers, a platinum record is essential. As for the real superstars, their target has always been diamond records. As for crown records, it is now a miracle that can only be encountered, but not sought. In fact, even diamond records often takes a long time to accumulate to achieve, unlike in the past, which can easily sell millions or even millions of sales. The freedom and sharing spirit of the internet led to cultural piracy of movies, music, and literature that could never be eliminated. The reason why Liu Chen's first solo album, You Who Sat Next to Me, was not optimistic about online sales, in addition to strong competitors, the main reason was that the songs in the album could basically be found on the internet. Many netizens had heard all of them, so their desire to consume naturally dropped big. At 7 p.m. on September 8th, the album went on sale on QQ Music. At the same time, Cui Jingji's Provocation was also on the shelves. A lot of people are paying attention to the sales of these 2 albums and the showdown between the 4 singers. Zhou Bei's Blooming Flower album was released on the 4th, and the current sales volume was 70,000 plus. Ling Xiaoxiao's solo album True Love is Invincible, which went on sale on the 5th, has sold more than 50,000, and the gap between the 2 is not big. So far, the results of the 2 have been regarded as qualified, without too many surprises, nor will they disappoint people too much. At least, gold record is firmly in their hands, but the momentum of the 2 albums is obviously insufficient. There has always been a law in online record sales, that is, the sales volume within 7 days of going on the shelf accounts for 40 to 50% of the total sales, especially the first 3 days are the most critical, which is called the 72-hour law. How well an album sells, whether it is a flop, qualified, or a big seller, can basically be seen within 72 hours. Zhou Bei's Blooming Flower and Ling Xiaoxiao's True Love is Invincible can only be regarded as qualified and are still far from the standard of a big seller. The performance of the 2 has more or less disappointed those onlookers. They originally expected to see a fierce competition, but the beginning was so calm. Everyone's eyes couldn't help but fall on Liu Chen and Cui Jingji's new albums to see if the 2 could collide with each other and create dazzling sparks. Most people believe that there is no suspense in Cui Jingji's victory. Apart from anything else, just in terms of publicity, Cui Jingji's Provocation has left Liu Chen at least 3 streets behind, and its title song, Provocation, still firmly occupies the top of the hit list on the homepage of QQ Music, which can really be described as a rainbow. In contrast, Liu Chen is really too low-key. You Who Sat Next to Me basically has no big advertising investment. Some people have also analyzed that Liu Chen's approach is wise. Even if he spends money, his album sales will not be very good, and it will be enough to brush up his reputation. Even if he responded to Cui Jingji's Provocation with Come to Fight on his blog, many people think that Liu Chen is just using the latter to stir up some hype, which belongs to hitching a ride, and he doesn't really want to fight Cui Jingji to the death. The simplest proof is that there are no advertisements for Liu Chen's album on major online media, including QQ Music, but the publicity of Provocation can be seen everywhere. On the Waves blog, the hot word Come to Fight has been hyped up, but how useful can it be? In related blogs, forums, and post bars, there are many people with the same view, including Cui Jingji himself. When the album Provocation was on the shelves, he was in the 5-star Mingdu Hotel in Shanghai. During the album promotion, Cui Jingji has brushed dozens of notices under the company's arrangement. Today alone, he has done live activities in 2 shopping malls and a Car 4S store in Shanghai. It was already dark when he returned to the hotel. He hasn't eaten yet, and his body is very tired, but he is still full of energy. The young idol artist is staring at the computer screen, staring at the list of his and Lu Chen's albums on the homepage of QQ Music, and staring at the jumping numbers behind the two albums' download sales. At the beginning, the sales of Provocation has steadily gained the upper hand, significantly ahead of You Who Sat Next to Me. Cui Jingji's face showed a smug smile. Xiaoji, you don't have to look. That Lu Chen won't be your opponent at all. The one who spoke was his agent sitting next to him. Interestingly, like Lu Chen, Cui Jingji's agent is also his sister, Cui Xiaoyin. Cui Xiaoyin was originally an artist. With the support of her parents, she has not become popular for several years. She has played small roles in several TV series, and her career has never improved. Later, she went behind the scenes and concentrated on helping her younger brother. Cui Xiaoyin's appearance is very ordinary. Even if she is carefully dressed up, she is only 6 or 7 points. The advantages of her parents are basically concentrated on her younger brother, Cui Jingji. The latter shone with dazzling brilliance as soon as he made his debut. Cui Xiaoyin is not jealous of her younger brother. On the contrary, she loves Cui Jingji the most and takes good care of the latter. In Chung Tian Entertainment, she is famous for her tough and difficult personality, and many people dare not provoke her. As for Lu Chen, who competes with her younger brother, Cui Xiaoyin is completely dismissive. With his old works, he'll be lucky if he can sell even 1/10 of your sales. Cui Xiaoyin dares to say such a thing because she is very confident. Because in Cui Jingji's Provocation album, except for a few songs he wrote himself, the rest were all written by famous South Korean pop composer Lee Jung-ki. This album was also personally produced by Lee Jung-ki. Its standard can be said to be first class. The original Korean pop style is the hot song and fast song that young people like most. Whether it is the melody or rhythm, it is impeccable. Cui Xiaoyin believes that with this album, Cui Jingji's career will inevitably take a big step and become a popular idol in the domestic entertainment industry. Next, he will naturally step into the film and television industry. A wide avenue of stars has been spread out in front of him. As for Lu Chen, he is nothing more than a small stone on the road. He can be kicked away. Bumping into my Jingji Appa is his bad luck. This sentence was not made up by Cui Xiaoyin herself, but by Cui Jingji's fans in the post bar. Cui Xiaoyin deeply agrees. Although Cui Jingji is proud and agrees with Cui Xiaoyin's view, he still said, Lu Chen's strength is still there. His song, The Brightest Star in the Night Sky, is good. His other songs are very ordinary and too outdated. Cui Jingji grew up in South Korea and received artist training in South Korea. He was imperceptibly influenced by South Korea's popular fashion. He returned to China to develop and expand the market through the Korean wave. He doesn't like Lu Chen's folk songs. But if he's too bad, Cui Jingji's face showed his signature smile. Then it's no fun for me to win, sister, right? Yes. Cui Xiaoyin touched her brother's hair and said with a smile, Don't look at it. Eat first. Don't starve. The dinner in the hotel has just been delivered to the room. She is afraid that it will not taste good when it is cold. Cui Jingji nodded and turned off the computer. He is full of confidence in his album. Just thinking of Lu Chen's response to him in his blog, Cui Jingji was really a little annoyed. I will let you know what it means to be a true powerhouse. He has even thought of the content of his blog post tomorrow. He must use facts to fight back. Isn't that thinking too highly of Lu Chen? Cui Jingji couldn't help laughing and asked loudly, Sister, what delicious food did you order for me? I want to eat meat. Chapter 165. Cui Jingji slept soundly. For more than half a month, he has been running notices in different cities and promoting his album at the same time. His daily schedule is full. He has long been physically and mentally exhausted and urgently needs a good rest. The album Provocation was finally officially released on the internet, and the sales results were obviously good, so he was finally able to sleep comfortably and have enough energy to deal with the next work task. It was not until 9 a.m. that he woke up. Stretching out happily, Cui Jingji put on his coat and ran to the bathroom to wash. There was no schedule this morning, so he didn't need to worry. Sister. After cleaning, Cui Jingji sat down at the desk in the outer room and turned on the computer. At the same time, he called his sister. I'm up. What do we have for breakfast? The computer was booting up. Cui Jingji couldn't wait to see the sales results of his album and read a few more blog posts by the way. He unbuttoned his shirt and exposed his chest. He was going to take 2 selfies and post them with a few words of exclamation. He believed that it would cause the screams of his fans and then ask for their support. Of course, he did not forget to step on his competitors. It was best to be humorous. A smile appeared on Cui Jingji's face. Fans called his smile, which he had practiced thousands of times, the angel's smile, and had long been used to it, even if there was no one around. Coming. As soon as the computer system entered the desktop, Cui Xiuyin came in with a plate. I didn't wake you up because you were sleeping soundly. Are you tired these days? Try your favorite abalone porridge. It's been simmering for 2 hours. Cui Jingji was in a good mood and said with a smile. Put it here. I'll look at the sales results first. Cui Xiuyin hesitated for a moment, put down the plate and said, let's have breakfast first and look at it later. Cui Jingji was very sensitive. He heard something wrong in his sister's voice. He frowned and asked, what's wrong? Cui Xiuyin reluctantly smiled and replied, it's nothing. You have breakfast.
No.
Cui Jingji shook his head and said, you must have something. His heart moved. Is it related to my album sales? Is the result not good? Cui Xiuyin hurriedly said, no, your sales are higher than Lu Chen's. That wasn't right. Cui Jingji was not a fool. It was normal for the sales of provocation to be higher than that of Lu Chen. Was there a need to emphasize it? His sister's expression was even weirder. He didn't continue to ask, held the mouse, opened the browser, and quickly logged on to the QQ Music website. Cui Jingji saw the weekly sales list on the homepage at first glance, and Provocation was ranked first. Although it was only released on Tuesday night, the sales of his debut album were very good. It had sold 47,852 copies in a total of 14 hours. In just half a day, close to 50,000 copies had been sold. It was a foregone conclusion that it would be a hit. In China, QQ Music has the largest number of genuine downloads. More than 100,000 paid downloads are hot sales, and 300,000 is considered a big sale. If it breaks 50,000 on the first day, it will not be a problem to hit a total sales of 300,000. A smile appeared on Cui Jingji's face again. It was a false alarm, but in the next moment his smile froze, as if he had been petrified. Because Cui Jingji saw that Lu Chen's album, You Who Sat Next to Me, was ranked below him, with sales of 40,970. There was only a difference of less than 7,000 pieces. How could this be possible? Cui Jingji couldn't believe his eyes. He couldn't help but reach out and rub them, suspecting that he was hallucinating. In his opinion, it was already amazing that Lu Chen's album could sell 20,000 copies on the first day. 10,000 was very normal. Now it's only been 14 hours. How could it break through more than 40,000 and catch up with him? Cui Jingji suddenly thought of a question and asked in a deep voice, how much did the company buy for me? Buying a list has long been nothing new. In order to create the illusion of hot sales, entertainment agencies often spend money to buy sales in the few days before the singer releases his album, which will be entered into the account as publicity and promotion fees. Because it's real money, any music website will not care about buying a list, and even the Chinese Music Association will acquiesce to the results, which is regarded as an unspoken rule in the circle. After all, the cost of buying a list is very high. It costs 5 yuan to buy a complete album sales. It's almost enough to spend 100 or 200,000 to mix up a hot gold record. Any more is easy to be regarded as a fool. Buying a list is fastidious. Some buy the first day or 72 hours of sales, and some even distribute it for 7 or 10 days. Just like Zhou Bei and Ling Xiaoxiao, who went on sale a few days ago, they must have bought a list. Otherwise, with Ling Xiaoxiao's third-rate strength, how could he sell more than 50,000 sales in 3 days? Cui Jingji was signed by Chung Tian Entertainment, which is famous for its wealth in the industry. This album has spent millions on promotion alone. Spending money to buy some sales is an inevitable means. Cui Xiuyin was silent. An inexplicable anger suddenly rushed to Cui Jingji's head, and the string of reason inside broke in an instant. He slammed his hand on the table and shouted, "Say it." Cui Xiuyin trembled all over and said in a low voice, 10,000. 10,000. Cui Jingji's look suddenly became ferocious. Deducting the number of 10,000 buying, then the real sales of Provocation album are less than 40,000. If Lu Chen didn't buy it, it means that he lost to the other party on the first day. Cui Xiuyin said, Lu Chen must have bought a list, otherwise it would be impossible for it to be so high. It's impossible. Is that true? Cui Xiuyin said, without confidence. Lu Chen is different from Cui Jingji. Lu Chen is an independent artist. He doesn't have any signed company behind him. He opened a small studio to operate. He is even reluctant to spend money on publicity. How could he spend a lot of money to buy a list? If he just wanted to beat Cui Jingji and buy a list, how much money would he have to spend? Is Lu Chen so stupid? Cui Jingji seemed to have grasped a life-saving straw and said, yes, he must have bought a list. How could Lu Chen not have bought a list? How could his sales surpass his own? He must have bought it. No. At the same moment, Lu Chen, who had just finished exercising in the park of the Creative Park, said to his mobile phone in puzzlement, why would I buy a list? How can I have so much money to burn? It was Chen Jianhao who called Lu Chen. The bar owner actually asked him if he had spent money on QQ Music to buy sales results, and he flatly gave a negative answer. What a joke. Lu Chen still wanted to make a profit from album sales, at least to recover the cost. How could he spend this kind of money? With money, it would be better for him to spend it on publicity and promotion. Isn't the effect 10 times better than buying a list? Chen Jianhao said with a smile on the phone. I believe you, but some people don't believe me. They all called me to ask, so I called you to ask. Since there's no such thing, then it's all right. After that, he quickly cut off the call. Hello. Lu Chen wanted to ask more questions, but it was too late. He could only put his mobile phone back into his trouser pocket. But it felt like a good thing. He couldn't help laughing and ran towards the building where the studio was located. Back in the office, as soon as Lu Chen entered the door, he saw all his colleagues in the studio, including his sister Lu Shi and Li Mubai, standing in a row, looking at him with a smile. Lu Chen was suddenly stunned. What's wrong with you?
Bang, bang, bang.
The next moment, accompanied by 3 dull explosions, 3 colored spray cans were unscrewed by Li Feiyu, Chen Xiang, and Li Mubai at the same time. A bunch of colorful stripes hit the ceiling and fell down, sprinkled on Lu Chen's head and body. Lu Chen said with a smile, What the hell is going on? Li Mubai rushed up, gave him a big hug and said with a smile, Brother Chen, congratulations on your album sales. Lu Chen smiled. Is it selling well? After You Who Sat Next to Me went on sale last night, he didn't pay attention to the sales. He just did what he should do and pulled votes for himself in the live broadcast of Whale TV and on his blog. Including in the morning, Lu Chen didn't even turn on the computer and ran outside to exercise. Lu Chen's mentality was very good. No matter whether the sales were high or low, no matter whether he could recover the cost in the end, he didn't particularly care, let alone worry about it. It doesn't matter if he fails. He has done his best, so he has a clear conscience. But now that he has received a surprise, Lu Chen was still very happy. Who doesn't like making more money? Lu Shi said with a smile, Everyone has been waiting for you for a long time, just waiting for you to come back to celebrate. Feiyu also specially went to the supermarket to buy a few colored cones to give you a big red door. Lu Chen said with a smile, Thank you, everyone. Previously, when he received an inquiry call from Chen Jianhao, he had a guess, and now it was confirmed. You Who Sat Next to Me sold very well. It's more than very good. It's definitely a big seller. Li Mubai hurriedly pulled him to the front of the computer, pointed to the screen and said, Look. Lu Chen immediately saw that on the weekly sales list of QQ Music, his album was only ranked below Cui Jingji's, and the current sales volume was 41,137. More than 40,000 copies. In less than 24 hours, so many copies were sold. It was not wrong to say that it was a big seller. Because of such a result, it was entirely possible to hit the red line of 300,000 sales. And if 300,000 copies were really sold, then the total sales would reach 4 million. 50% share would be 2 million, and after deducting 10% sales income tax and production and publicity costs, there would be at least 600,000 profits. It doesn't seem to be a lot, but it should be known that most singers who sell albums on the internet are considered successful if they can earn back the cost of publicity. Even for big stars like Tan Hong and Shin Fei, their albums will definitely sell well, but the cost of production and publicity is often extremely high, and they will not rely on this to make a profit. Earning hundreds of thousands of online sales was really against the natural order. Therefore, there was every reason to celebrate. Lu Chen took a deep breath and let the joy drown his whole body. After paying so much, it was finally time to reap the rewards. Chapter 166. In September, the pop music world was originally very calm. No superstar in the circle chose to release a new album or single this month. Therefore, the 4 major music websites have become the stage for the competition between the new generation of singers and idols. QQ Music, NetEase Music, Pop Radio, and The Voice of China have all had the debut albums of singers and artists at the beginning of this month, but the most eye-catching one was undoubtedly the showdown between the 4 rookies of QQ Music Network. Cui Jingji, Lu Chen, Zhou Bei, and Ling Xiaoxiao are all the best of the new generation of artists in China. Everyone thought that Cui Jingji, who occupied the right time, place, and people, would inevitably become the final winner. Cui Jingji also thought so. So when he was interviewed by the media, he was dismissive of Lu Chen. However, the fact gave him a hard slap in the face. At 7 p.m. on September 9th, 24 hours after Cui Jingji and Lu Chen's debut album, the sales of Provocation was 67,520 copies, and the sales of You Who Sat Next to Me was 65,117 copies. The gap between the two narrowed to more than 1,000 copies. In fact, both Cui Jingji and Cheng Tian Entertainment, which he signed a contract with, knew very well that the real sales of Provocation should be subtracted by 15,000 copies. If Lu Chen didn't buy the list, it meant that he was behind by more than 13,000 sales. For a whole day, Cui Jingji did not update his blog, nor did he let Cui Xiaoyin write for him. He even pushed away his afternoon appointment and stayed in front of the computer to stare at the sales data of QQ Music Network. It was as if he was possessed. Cui Xiaoyin didn't dare to persuade him, and could only explain and apologize to the company on the grounds of Cui Jingji's sudden illness. After all, it was a very bad event for a new artist to temporarily postpone a long-arranged appointment. Even if Cui Jingji was very popular in Cheng Tian Entertainment because of his parents' relationship, he was still questioned from the upper echelons. Cui Jingji's state was really like that of an illness. He didn't believe that he would lose to Lu Chen. Although he desperately said in his heart that Lu Chen also bought the list, his intuition told the proud new idol that Lu Chen's results were probably real. But how is this possible? The works in Lu Chen's album have already had a live version in advance, which can be easily found on the internet. He didn't invest money in publicity, so he just temporarily hyped it up. How could the results be so good?
How could this be?
Cui Jingji couldn't figure it out. He wanted to smash the computer on the table. If it wasn't for the company buying the rankings for him, he would have suffered the humiliation of being stepped on by Lu Chen. Lu Chen couldn't figure it out either. He also stayed in front of the computer, watching the constantly jumping numbers on the weekly sales list of QQ Music Network and Li Mubai, who was sitting next to him eating a fast food box. He couldn't tear apart his sister. Oh, that's wrong. He was puzzled. Lu Chen's initial sales target for You Who Sat Next to Me was 100,000 plus. Later, when he faced Cui Jingji and increased the cost of publicity, his expectation was raised to 150,000 plus to ensure that he could still make a sum of money. However, he never expected that the sales volume would reach more than 60,000 on the first day. If there wasn't a sharp drop, then the total sales volume would at least exceed 300,000, reaching the standard of a blockbuster. Lu Chun felt a little inexplicable. He felt as if he had suddenly been hit by a pie that fell from the sky. His eyes couldn't help but fall on Li Mubai, revealing a puzzled look. Li Mubai swallowed the rice in his mouth and said, "You don't have to look at me. I'm so poor now. These 2 days, I've been advertising for you in the QQ group. I have no money to buy the rankings for you. I didn't even know what buying rankings was before. With this money, I'll eat well. How can I eat this?" But the pitiful third young master of the Li family has now been reduced to the situation of a bento box. Li Morong's words cut off his pocket money this month, and a master like him would spend as much as he could and would not save at all, so he was suddenly in a dilemma. The Porsche sports car has been given to Li Mushi at a 40% discount, and the latter is still in arrears. So, Li Mubai can only watch the crowdfunding website start operating as soon as possible. He has never eaten a box lunch for 15 yuan before, but now he is eating it very happily. The steak is not bad. Lu Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry, but Li Mubai certainly didn't help him buy the rankings. So, this sales result is real.
But why?
Although the number of his live broadcast fans and blogs are in the millions, most of them are passers-by fans, and there are not many real die-hard fans. Even if it's an album that costs 8 yuan, not many people will buy it. This situation is not only true for him, but also for new artists like Cui Jingji. Nowadays, fans are very shrewd, and it is easy to like the new and dislike the old. They often chase more than one star idol. Stable popularity and genuine fans need a long time of accumulation and cultivation. Lu Chen's rise is very fast, but his foundation is not stable. In addition, he is much more low-key than other artists, so both the outside world and himself are not very optimistic about the sales of You Who Sat Next to Me. The result was so unexpected. Lu Chen shook his head and said to Li Mubai, "Let's look at the situation again. If the sales volume of QQ has dropped significantly, then we will officially launch the crowdfunding website and crowdfund the album and commemorative set." According to the plan, the crowdfunding website was launched yesterday. The website has already been built, and there is only one project for the time being. However, You Who Sat Next to Me was a big seller on QQ Music, which forced Lu Chen to change his plan. After discussing with Li Mushi, he was ready to postpone it for about 10 days, so as to avoid the situation of the left hand hitting the right hand. Li Mushi has no objection. The office of the new company is still being renovated, and she has just returned to China and has too many social activities. It's just that Li Mubai has suffered. He has no money and no car, so he can only run to Lu Chen's studio all day to freeload. Li Mubai tried hard to compete with the big platoon and nodded again and again. But the development of things is always so unexpected. On September 10th, Cui Jingji's Provocation sold a total of 82,584 copies, a significant drop. What surprised many people was that the total sales of Lu Chen's You Who Sat Next to Me reached 102,560 copies, counterattacked, and topped the weekly sales list of QQ Music, and was significantly ahead of its competitors. Compared with the first day, the drop in his sales was so low that it was really incredible. Although many people in the circle who pay attention to this rookie showdown have been mentally prepared for Lu Chen to surpass Cui Jingji, they were still very surprised to see that the latter's counterattack was so fast. Breaking 100,000 sales in 48 hours was not only a big sale, with a total sales of 300,000, but also an impact on platinum record of 500,000. Lu Chen's ambition was too big. On blogs, forums, and post bars, there were more and more comments and discussions. Some people insisted that Lu Chen must have spent a lot of money to buy the chart, and didn't believe that You Who Sat Next to Me could sell so well. Some people also thought that the possibility of Lu Chen buying the chart was very small, and that You Who Sat Next to Me sold well because of its excellent quality. Some people were jealous of his success, and some people laughed at Cui Jingji's failure. They even dug out Cui Jingji's interview video. And the most controversial place was the member forum of QQ Music Network, which was already in a hubbub. As the largest music website in China, QQ Music Forum has gathered a large number of pop music lovers, and the showdown between the four rookies this month has long been a hot topic. By the 10th, the total sales of Ling Xiaoxiao's solo album, True Love is Invincible, was only 60,000 plus, and the subsequent sales directly plunged, making people wonder if the album could finally reach the standard of gold record. And the evaluation of his album on the website was very low, with a member score of only 6. For barely passing. Considering that he was very likely to spend money to buy the chart, the actual score would only be lower. The situation of Zhou Bei's Blooming Flower was much better. The total sales on the 10th exceeded 90,000, and the evaluation was 8.1 points. It should be said that her reputation was pretty good, and she lived up to the name of a talented woman. Whether it was Ling Xiaoxiao or Zhou Bei, there was no hot topic worth talking about, so now the focus was mainly on the two albums of Lu Chun and Cui Jingji. In the comment area of the main post of the weekly sales list, all kinds of people were fighting, including Cui Jingji's fans, Lu Chen's fans, passers-by fans of both sides, and a large number of onlookers. QQ Tourist 00567. The sales of You Who Sat Next to Me are too fake. Who believes that it's just water? Second Generation Husky. Upstairs is the stupidest. Blue Sky. I bought Lu Chen's album and I don't like Cui Jingji. Wood Ear. Cui Jingji's Provocation is not bad, but this album is enough to listen to the song. It's not worth buying. Xiaoji is the best. My Jingji Appa is the best. Can I trouble Lu Chen's Water Army not to appear? Thank you. AK-47. Hee, can you get out of here? Thank you. The End of the World. I bought both albums. To be fair, Lu Chun is better than Cui Jingji. You will know when you look at the album ratings, and Provocation bought the list, but You Who Sat Next to Me didn't. Popeye, are you serious? Provocation bought the list, then didn't Cui Jingji lose miserably? Chung Chung Love. Bullshit. The End of the World. Whether I'm talking nonsense or not, everyone can see it with their own eyes. It will be clear when you click on the ratings and comments. All albums or singles sold on QQ Music can be rated and evaluated by buying members. The high or low rating means the good or bad reputation. So far, You Who Sat Next to Me has a rating of 9.2 and Provocation is 8.5. It seems that the gap between the two is not very big, only 0.7, but it should be known that because of the phenomenon of buying the list, it is normal to brush high ratings, and the website doesn't care. Because spending money is the boss, and naturally enjoys privileges. However, as long as you have the heart to explore, you'll find the problem from the ratings and evaluations of these members. You can also find out the mystery of the different sales of the two albums. When the tide recedes, it will naturally be clear who is swimming naked. Chapter 167. Cui Jingji's Provocation has more than 40,000 ratings and comments on QQ Music. Clicking on the comment area of the album, attentive people can find that the comments inside are obviously polarized. More than half of them are positive comments, and many of them are top praise, such as "so good to listen to," "wonderful album," "support Jingji Appa," and so on are innumerable, and there is a lot of repetition of the same content. These comments are densely arranged up and down, and the formation is very neat. It exudes a taste of false prosperity. Of course, there are also some good comments with detailed comments, but compared with the bad comments, it is undoubtedly much less. Low-score bad comments are more realistic and real than high-score positive comments. Many members who have bought the album don't have a high evaluation of Provocation. The general view is that the album is too Korean in style, and it gives them the feeling that it is the same, without too many surprises and highlights. Some people said that they regretted buying it. Although it was only 8 yuan, it was enough to buy a single Provocation. Some people also ridiculed that the songs in the album were like Korean plastic surgery. They were all poured out of the same mold, and several songs were similar to twins. Some people even clamored for a refund. In contrast, Lu Chen's You Who Sat Next to Me has about 40,000 comments, which is less than Provocation. But more than 90% of the comments in the album's comment area are positive, and most of the comments are meaningful, not the kind of simple reply that is fixed model. Some people like You Who Sat Next to Me, some people like Those Flowers, some people appreciate Love in the Wind, and some people have listened to The Brightest Star in the Night Sky dozens of times, but they are not tired of it. A QQ Music member with the ID Chen Xing said in the comment, I like Lu Chen's album because it reminds me of my good school days, reminding me of my first love, my brother who slept on my upper bunk, those who liked me and the people I liked, and my youth that I can't go back to. Although I've heard most of the live versions, the complete album is still very different. The arrangement and accompaniment were done with great care, and the 8 yuan is really worth it. I hope to buy the CD record. Another ID called World Traveler wrote, I've long seen Lu Chen singing in Singing China. At that time, there were several songs that really moved me. So, after knowing that he released an album, I bought and downloaded it as soon as possible. I wasn't disappointed. It felt really good. For this album, I want to say, Lu Chen, you are an extraordinary singer. There were many similar comments, and some people even talked about their youth. This kind of comment atmosphere is in sharp contrast to Provocation. At the same time, it also deeply stimulated someone. Bang! An expensive branded mouse slammed heavily on the desk. The plastic at the bottom was immediately torn apart, revealing the circuit board inside.
It looked like it was about to die.
Cui Xiuyin, who heard the noise in the room, hurried over, still holding the phone tightly in her hand. She looked at her brother sitting in front of the computer with great worry. She opened her mouth, but didn't know what to say. Originally, she and Cui Jingji were supposed to leave Huhai for Shacheng today, but because of the album sales, they were delayed. The subsequent itinerary and schedule arrangements had to be changed, and the consequences were very troublesome. It was just that Cui Jingji was in such a bad mood that Cui Xiuyin didn't even dare to persuade him. She knew her brother's character too well. He was used to having a smooth sailing. Once he encountered setbacks, he would be upset and irritable, and all kinds of bad temper would follow. Now, it's good that he only broke a mouse. Today is September 11th, and the total sales of Lu Chen's You Who Sat Next to Me album exceeded 150,000, and it was a foregone conclusion. There was even hope to achieve platinum record. The sales of Cui Jingji's Provocation directly plunged, barely exceeding 90,000. The gap was so big that it made people desperate. In just 3 short days, he felt as if he had fallen from heaven to hell. Even if this sales result was very good. After a while, Cui Jingji asked, Sister, did the company call you again? Cui Xiuyin sighed and said, Yes, the company is very angry. They have stopped the promotion of the new album and will no longer buy the charts. They want you to go to Shacheng tomorrow, otherwise. Also, Mom and Dad also called and asked about your situation. Cui Jingji stayed in the hotel for 2 days. He didn't give any notice or answer the phone. The company was furious. Although she used the excuse of being sick to fend them off, she couldn't hide it from others. Cui Jingji reached out and closed his laptop, rubbed his face hard, and said in a hoarse voice, I see. Tomorrow, we will go to Shacheng. You can rearrange the itinerary for me. Good. Seeing that her brother had cheered up again, Cui Xiuyin was also very happy. It doesn't matter if you lose this time. You have plenty of opportunities to defeat that Lu Chen in the future. Cui Jingji nodded hard, but his mind was still full of the comments he had seen on the internet. The bad comments about himself and the good comments about Lu Chen were like sharp thorns, stabbing him to the point of going crazy. Lu Chen. Cui Jingji remembered the name firmly. He vowed that one day he would wash away today's humiliation. On September 12th, You Who Sat Next to Me sold more than 180,000 copies. On September 13th, it broke through 200,000 copies. On September 15th, 250,000 copies. In 7 days, the album created the best weekly sales record on QQ Music Network in half a year, and even surpassed the albums of many domestic first-class singers, becoming the best newcomer album sales in recent years. In contrast, Cui Jingji's provocation was much inferior, with a total sales of 110,000 copies in 7 days, less than half of Lu Chen's. At this point, there were fewer voices about Lu Chen on the internet. The reason was very simple. It was because everyone knew that Lu Chen was an independent artist. He did not have a powerful entertainment agency behind him. It was impossible for him to buy 20,000 to 30,000 sales. It was completely different when he reached this level. Online sales of a singer's album were different from physical record sales. The sales in the first week often accounted for about 50% of the total sales. The weekly sales of 250,000 copies meant that You Who Sat Next to Me was likely to eventually break through the 500,000 mark. 500,000 copies meant the certification of platinum record, and it also meant a sales performance of 4 million. According to the 50% share, and deducting 10% tax, Lu Chen could get a full 1.6 million. How much did he invest in this album? It was estimated that it was only a few 100,000. All the songs were written by Lu Chen himself. It was simply a big profit. It was unknown how many people in the industry were jealous, and more people felt that it was inconceivable. Why did this album, which already had a live version and no large-scale publicity hype, sell so well? On the evening of September 15th, Chen Guodong, who was certified as lecturer in the Department of Music at Beijing Normal University, on Wave's blog, posted a long blog post titled The Silent Majority. As a university lecturer, Chen Guodong had little to do with the entertainment industry, but in the pop music world, his name was widely known. He was a famous music critic and contributed to a number of amateur music websites and magazines. In this long blog post, he focused on Lu Chen's album, which had been widely concerned in the industry. At the beginning of the blog post, Chen Guodong said that he attended the freshman welcome party at Normal University on the 10th. As a result, he heard 4 songs at the party, namely, You Who Sat Next to Me, The Brother Who Slept on My Upper Bunk, Those Flowers, and The Brightest Star in the Night Sky. These 4 songs were all from Lu Chen's You Who Sat Next to Me album, and all of them were welcomed by the students. The playing and singing of several boys even attracted warm applause and cheers from the audience. In contrast, a few popular dance and song programs received mediocre responses. This aroused Chen Guodong's deep thought. Why was Lu Chen's campus folk songs so popular with college students and sold so well on QQ Music? He analyzed that it should be that this album touched the feelings of the silent majority. The so-called silent majority was actually ordinary young people and ordinary pop music lovers. They lived around you and me. Some were on campus, and some were working hard in society. They liked listening to pop music, but they didn't go after stars very much. If they wanted to listen to songs, they would search for free downloads on the internet, and they would not easily express their opinions. This huge group was often ignored by entertainment agencies during publicity because they were not like the fan group of stars, which could bring them rich profits. Therefore, the market trend of pop music was to cater to fan groups. The most popular European, American, Japanese, and South Korean styles were the best evidence. Entertainment companies and singers and stars were changing ways to meet the needs of these people. The decline of domestic music originality had a lot to do with this bias. But were the silent majority willing to passively accept it? The answer was obviously no. They, including some star fans, had long begun to get tired of imitating and plagiarizing the entertainment atmosphere of Europe, the United States, Japan, and South Korea. They didn't want to listen to the same fast songs, but they had no choice, because the whole market was like this. However, the emergence of Lu Chen was like a fresh wind blowing into the pop music world. His original campus folk song, work undoubtedly let people see the new hope of local originality. So, the energy that had been accumulated for a long time erupted. The most direct reaction was to drive up the sales of You Who Sat Next to Me. There must have been many people who usually listen to free songs, and they were willing to take out 8 yuan to support Lu Chen. Therefore, Lu Chen was able to defeat his opponent Cui Jingji with a crushing force. The latter was precisely the representative of Korean wave music. This was support, but also a silent struggle, the power of the silent majority. At the end of the blog post, Chen Guodong believed that the domestic pop music world should really start to reflect. Don't ignore the silent majority. Chapter 168. Chen Guodong does not have many fans in Wave's blog, only 200,000 plus, and can be regarded as a small V. But he is very famous in the pop music world. He is a contributor to many music websites and magazines, and has a wide range of contacts in the circle. Therefore, there are many star artists and industry celebrities who follow each other on his blog. As soon as the post, The Silent Majority, was released, it was forwarded a lot, such as music superstars Tan Hong, Chen Feier, Flying Stone Records music director Lin Jijia, famous artist Zhang Zhirong, pop radio host Xu Ping, and other Big V have all given positive comments, forming a wider influence on the internet. By the next day, September 16th, the three words Lu Chen, You Who Sat Next to Me, and The Silent Majority were on the hot search list on the homepage of Wave's blog at the same time. There are also many bloggers posting short videos they shot at their respective colleges and universities' freshman welcoming parties, which are basically live videos of student performers playing and singing Lu Chen's album. A guitar, a handsome guy, a folk song. Most of these videos were shot with mobile phones, and the picture quality and sound quality were not good, but the atmosphere at the scene was great, which is enough to show the popularity of Lu Chen's original songs among the student community. People in the industry were shocked to find that campus folk song, a folk song category created by Lu Chen, has unknowingly gained a wide range of influence with the release of his debut album and has been recognized by countless young people. When Lu Chen used campus folk song for publicity, many people scoffed at it and even reprimanded it as an act of sensationalism. Now, it is entirely possible to leave a strong mark in the history of domestic pop music. Some entertainment record companies have keenly noticed this market and are planning to launch works in the same style. Lu Chen's Waves blog has increased by hundreds of thousands of fans. Also on September 16th, the sales of You Who Sat Next to Me on QQ Music Online exceeded 300,000. A lot of glasses fell to the ground. It should be known that the sales performance of a singer's album on the website is mainly concentrated in the first week, especially the sales in the first 3 days are the most important. Later, it will definitely go down all the way, and there will even be a sharp dive. The reason is very simple. Online piracy will be rampant with the hot sales of albums, appearing in post bars, forums, and QQ groups for others to download for free, which can't be contained at all. Under such circumstances, even if it is a superstar's work, the downward trend is irreversible. You Who Sat Next to Me was released on QQ Music on the 8th. It has been 8 days since the 16th, which has already passed the golden sales period. Normally, the sales should be getting worse day by day and enter the later accumulation stage. But no one expected that the album would sell 50,000 copies on September 16th, which was simply unbelievable and extremely envious. It was simply unbelievable. This miracle once again strongly proved Chen Guodong's assertion about the silent majority. Lu Chen have Lu Chen by not as Chen as. The success of You Who Sat Next to Me made Lu Chen's originally declining popularity explode again. Many entertainment agencies and advertisers have called or taken the initiative to approach Lu Chen's studio for cooperation. Performances, endorsements, buying songs. Lu Shi was so busy that she didn't have time to rest all day long. He believed that his sister would be able to handle it. As for Lu Chen himself, of course, it was impossible for him to be idle. At 1:00 p.m. on September 17th, he went to the Beijing television building to participate in the rehearsal of the National Day Party of the satellite TV station. Beijing television basically has 4 big parties every year, namely the Spring Festival Gala on the first day of the New Year, the New Year's Eve Gala on December 31st, the Taiwan Celebration Gala on June 8th, and the National Day Gala on October 1st. Among them, the Spring Festival Gala and the New Year's Eve Gala have always been the highlight of the satellite TV station. Relatively speaking, the scale and investment of the Taiwan Celebration Gala and the National Day Gala are a notch lower, and the ratings have always been low. However, Beijing television is located in the capital and has a great influence. Even if it's the National Day Gala with low ratings, there are still countless actors and singers who want to stand on its stage, even if it's just to brush their faces. Lu Chen's opportunity to go on stage at the Beijing Television National Day Gala was originally won by him with the song Life on a String. After winning the championship of Singing China, it was even more logical and no one could gossip. Otherwise, with his identity as an independent new artist and his contacts in the circle, there was basically no chance. Lu Chen still attached great importance to the National Day Gala, so he arrived at the satellite TV building in advance. With the invitation letter and identity card sent by the satellite TV station, Lu Chen passed the security checks smoothly and came to the T1 studio of Beijing Television. This brand new studio, which was just opened 2 months ago, can accommodate 3,000 live audiences at the same time. The total area of the stage reaches 3,500 square meters, and the decoration is atmospheric and advanced. It can be called the best in the industry. Lu Chen has been here before, so he is familiar with the way. There are already many entertainers in the backstage of the studio. Lu Chen saw many familiar faces inside. They are all famous singers and stars in the circle. The lineup of this gala is undoubtedly quite strong. Under the arrangement of the TV station staff, he sat down in the reserved seat. Also in the backstage, the arrangement of the dressing table is very particular. First of all, the top superstars do not mix in the big room. They have separate VIP suites to use. Secondarily, the first and second line star idols occupy a separate space close to the stage entrance and exit, separated by a partition, while the third, fourth, fifth, and 18th line artists are all arranged in a neat and unified position in the large dressing room. As for other ordinary entertainers, such as backup singers and dancers, they basically can only stand in the corner, or even go to the circular corridor outside to wait for preparations. It's not easy to drink water. Originally, when Lu Chen participated in Singing China, there were not many singing contestants, so the backstage seemed very spacious. Now the rehearsal situation of the gala is completely different. It is very lively and crowded inside. The staff of the TV station have to hold an electronic loudspeaker to shout, otherwise it will be difficult to hear them clearly. After Lu Chen sat down, he didn't run around and cause trouble for people. He took out his mobile phone and started playing with it. His mentality is very relaxed. Because today is the first rehearsal, there is no need to put on makeup and change clothes, and it's just a matter of singing a song. Senior Lu Chen. As a result, Lu Chen had just logged into Lu Fei's message when a voice full of surprise came from the side. "You're here." Lu Chen couldn't help but turn his head and look, and suddenly smiled. Xiaochu. It was none other than Mu Xiaochu, who greeted him. Mu Xiaochu is a sophomore at Beijing Institute of Foreign Languages. She is only 19 years old this year and can be regarded as Lu Chen's junior sister. Despite her delicate and soft personality, she has overcome all the difficulties in the competition of Singing China. With his sweet song, Small Town Nocturne, she narrowly defeated Gao Zhanping, the challenger of Bihai's singing area, with a total score of 91.68 points and won the 5th place in the national top 10. In the final national final, the girl with a sweet voice won the 4th place in the total score and was signed by Flying Stone Records. After nearly a month, Lu Chen was also very happy to see this beautiful and lovely girl next door junior sister again. He got up with a smile and asked, "When did you come here?" Mu Xiaochu pursed her lips and said with a smile, "I just came here with senior brother Zhang Haohai." Only then did Lu Chen notice that there was a young man in a black jacket standing next to Mu Xiaochu. The man in the jacket is about 24 or 25 years old. His height is much lower than Lu Chen's. He is handsome and fashionably dressed. He has the temperament of an idol, but he has a bit of a fake smile on his face. "Brother Zhang." Lu Chen took the initiative to extend his hand to the other party. "Long time no see. How have you been?" Zhang Haohai is also one of the top 10 singers in Singing China. He is a native of Shancheng, a Beijing drifting singer. He has strong singing skills and is good at dancing. He won the 3rd place in the final and was also signed by Flying Stone Records. Lu Chen and Zhang Haohai are not familiar with each other. Apart from the original competitive relationship, there is no hatred or contradiction between the two, so the other party's slightly hostile attitude made Lu Chen a little puzzled. Singing China is over. It's all right. Zhang Haohai shook hands with Lu Chen lightly and said, "It's not as good as you. You've even released an album." Lu Chen said with a smile, "It's just good luck." Since Zhang Haohai is neither salty nor indifferent, he will not stick his hot face to the other party's cold butt. Mu Xiaochu said very seriously, "Senior Lu Chen, you don't rely on luck, but strength. I bought several copies of your album for my classmates to listen to. They all said it was very good, and wanted to meet you." With a shy smile on her face, she said softly, "When can I invite Senior to have dinner together?" Zhang Haohai's face was a little dark. Lu Chen suddenly understood. It turned out that Zhang Xiaohai had an idea about Mu Xiaochu. When he saw the latter taking the initiative to approach him, he was unhappy. He shook his head secretly but agreed. "No problem. You have my cell phone number. You can call me at any time. I'll invite your classmates to dinner." Mu Xiaochu was pleasantly surprised. "Really?" Lu Chen nodded seriously. "Of course it's true. As a senior, how can I deceive a junior sister?" Mu Xiaochu was amused. "Thank you, senior." The two chatted intimately, and Zhang Xiaohai finally couldn't stay any longer. He said, "You guys talk. I'm going." Mu Xiaochu and Lu Chen nodded and didn't speak. After Zhang Xiaohai left, the two looked at each other and smiled. Lu Chen could see that Mu Xiaochu didn't like Zhang Xiaohai, but out of politeness, he treated him with a cold face. Mu Xiaochu said, "Thank you, senior." The same sentence, the front and the back, have very different meanings. Chapter 169. Mu Xiaochu is a good girl. She is pure and lovely, kind-hearted, but also intelligent, and her appearance is also first class. If there is any shortcoming, it is that she is not very tall. As for singing, Mu Xiaochu's talent was excellent. Even Chen Fei was full of praise for her voice. It was not just luck that allowed her to enter the finals among thousands of talent singers in the country. Most importantly, she has a good impression of Lu Chen and is willing to get close to Lu Chen. Lu Chen also has a good feeling about Mu Xiaochu, but this feeling is not the kind of feeling between a man and a woman. Mu Xiaochu is like his other sister, a sister who is worth taking care of and is willing to take care of. So, Lu Chen quietly helped her solve her trouble and drove away the annoying Zhang Xiaohai. Even if it may provoke Zhang Xiaohai's hatred. Mu Xiaochu is sitting next to Lu Chen. Zhang Xiaohai's position is also nearby. This afternoon's National Day party rehearsal, including Lu Chen, the top 5 of the top 10 contestants of Singing China, have all come. Of course, it was invited by Beijing Television. According to the original terms that Lu Chen negotiated with Beijing Television, he licensed the copyright of Life on a String to Beijing Television for free, and in return, he will perform on the stage of satellite TV's National Day party. Originally, the two sides agreed that Lu Chen would sing solo, but now it has been changed to a chorus of the top 5 contestants, which is a big drop in value. When Lu Chen received a notice from Beijing Television a few days ago, he was upset. But when he thought about it, he was relieved. At such a level of party, and in Beijing, there are undoubtedly a lot of star artists who want to come on stage. There must be internal games and struggles. It's normal for the program to change. For example, Mu Xiaochu, Zhang Xiaohai, and another singer in the chorus are all signed by Flying Stone Records. Flying Stone Records has a long-term good cooperation with Beijing Television. Lu Chen did not have many connections in Beijing Television. He only knew a few people, and he did not put in much effort to do public relations. He was lucky that his program was not rejected. Changing the solo to a chorus was already giving him face. In this regard, Lu Chen was very clear. He was not arrogant enough to think that Beijing Television needed to beg him. The result of fighting for what was right was very likely to destroy the relationship that he had worked so hard to build. In addition, Lu Chen attached great importance to this performance, but it wasn't to the point where he had to go. Therefore, Lu Chen's state of mind was very peaceful. He would not complain about the unfairness of the world. He believed that as long as he worked hard to improve, there would be a day when he would be able to step on the red carpet of any level of stage. Mu Xiaochu obviously didn't know the inside story. From time to time, he would come over and talk to Lu Chen about the duet. The intimacy between the two attracted the attention of many people nearby. especially Zhang Xiaohai. His neck was almost broken. Lu Chen treated him like air.
Beep, beep, beep.
While chatting happily with Mu Xiaochu, they suddenly heard a series of beeping sounds around them. Many people had received text notifications on their phones. A woman who had been standing behind Mu Xiaochu picked up her phone and looked at it, revealing a surprised expression. The woman was in her 30s, with a thin and ordinary appearance. She was the personal assistant assigned to Mu Xiaochu by Flying Stone Records. Her name was Zhou Fong. Lu Chen also had an assistant, but there were too many things to do in the studio today, so he asked Li Feiyu to stay there to help. Mu Xiaochu turned around and asked curiously, "Sister Fong, what's wrong?" Ever since these text notifications sounded, the atmosphere backstage had become very strange and much quieter. Anyone could sense that something was wrong. Zhou Fong quickly looked around, bent down and said in a low voice, "Wang Bin was just caught taking drugs." "Wang Bin?" Mu Xiaochu was shocked. "Is it that Wang Bin?" There may be thousands of people named Wang Bin in the world, but there was only one famous one in the entertainment industry. Wang Bin could be regarded as an old senior in the music industry. He made his debut in the late 1980s and was very popular in the 1990s. He had released several records that sold more than 1 million copies, won many awards, and made great achievements in film and television. Although his influence in the Chinese music industry could not be compared with that of Tan Hong, he could also be regarded as a big shot. This character was actually arrested for taking drugs, which was absolutely a sensational event in the country, and was 100% sure to make the headlines. The news in the entertainment industry spread too fast. When one side was arrested, the other side received the news one after another. Wang Bin was one of the heavyweight guests invited by Beijing Television's National Day Party. The satellite TV side had already advertised it, but now that such a big thing had happened, it was bound to be a headache. Zhou Fong nodded and showed a mysterious expression. "I heard that it was reported by the people of Chaoyang District again. This year is the third one." The people of Chaoyang District in Beijing were simply godlike existences, the nemesis of star artists in the entertainment industry. Since the beginning of the year, according to the reports of the people of Chaoyang District in Beijing, as many as 10 well-known artists have been arrested because of drug abuse, sheltering drug abuse, and paying to solve their physical needs. Netizens joked that these people could make a prison blockbuster if they squatted together. On the surface, the entertainment industry was bright and beautiful, but in fact, it was also dirty. Many artists chose to indulge themselves for various reasons, and as a result, they embarked on the road of no return. Because many stars in Beijing lived in Chaoyang District, there were many accidents in this area. Especially in recent years, the government rectified the public security situation and vigorously cracked down on illegal and criminal activities, which made the people of Chaoyang District famous. The artists in the backstage of the studio all learned the news through their respective assistants. There was a lot of whispering and discussion. The words Wang Bin, drug abuse, arrested, and so on floated out from time to time. After almost half an hour in a strange atmosphere, a staff member appeared backstage. He raised the microphone and asked, "Lu Chen, is Mr. Lu Chen there?" Lu Chen was stunned, stood up instinctively, raised his hand and said, "I am here." In a twinkling, he became the focus of attention. Many of them were well-known singers and actors. Everyone's eyes were curious, doubtful, and surprised. Lu Chen felt that the pressure was really a little big. Fortunately, the staff member immediately said, "Please come with me." Lu Chen hurried over. When he left the backstage area, the discussions behind him grew louder and louder, and it became noisy once more. Following the TV station staff, Lu Chen came to an office. The small office was filled with smoke, and the scene made Lu Chen feel familiar. There were also two acquaintances, Chen Qi, deputy director of Beijing Television, and Gurue, the music director of Singing China program group. The other people present were probably people from the TV station. The atmosphere in the room was very depressing. In particular, Gurue was frowning, his face was wrinkled like a bitter gourd, and he was smoking. When he saw Lu Chen coming in, he reluctantly squeezed out a smile. Xiao Lu is here. In fact, he might as well not smile, which was even uglier. Relatively speaking, Chen-Chi was much calmer. He pointed to the sofa next to him and said, "Xiao Lu, sit down." He introduced several colleagues to Lu Chun, namely the host, assistant director, and so on. When Lu Chun politely greeted him and sat down again, the deputy director of Beijing Television asked him bluntly, "Do you know that Wang Bin was arrested for taking drugs?" Lu Chun nodded. "I just knew." Chun-Chi sighed and said, "It's really unexpected that such a thing happened. Wang Bin's program is definitely going to be pulled down. Our opinion is that you should replace it."
Ah?
Lu Chen never expected that Chen-Chi would let him replace Wang Bin's program. Gurue explained, "We originally gave you a solo program. Later, the situation changed, and now there has been an accident. I have discussed it with Director Chen, and you will replace Wang Bin. In addition, the program of singing China's Top 5 will continue to be retained, which is equivalent to giving you 2 programs." Chen-Chi said, "Xiao Lu, you are a good person and you are the champion. You are fully qualified. So that's how it is. It's really a blessing in disguise." If Lu Chun had a disagreement with Beijing Television because of the change from solo to chorus, perhaps this opportunity would not have come to him at all. Lu Chun said without hesitation, "Thank you, Director Chen. Thank you, Director Gu. I will try my best to perform well." These 2 programs are absolutely a blessing from the sky. In fact, what Lu Chun really wants to thank is the people of Chaoyang District. "Don't worry," Chen-Chi raised his hand and said, "Now the situation is like this. In the afternoon, several leaders of Central TV will come over. They will sit in the studio and watch our rehearsal. Later, you will replace Wang Bin. Your performance can't be bad." Gurue asked, "Do you have any ideas about the choice of the solo song?" Making a last-minute effort, Lu Chun was very young. Although Chun-Chi and Gurue decided to put the burden on him, they still could not be completely relieved after all. Chun-Chi said, "Why don't you sing the song, The Brightest Star in the Night Sky, the champion's work?" Gurue said with a wry smile, "Wang Bin was originally going to sing New China's New Era." I'm afraid Lu Chen's song, New China's New Era, is a theme song, and the original singer is Wang Bin. Since it is the National Day party, the theme style must be biased towards the theme. There has been Lu Chen's Life on a String before, plus The Brightest Star in the Night Sky. Gurue's worries are not unreasonable. That Chen-Chi hesitated. He felt that he called Lu Chen over in a hurry. Was it not thoughtful enough? Maybe it would be better to change someone else? At this time, Lu Chen said, "Director Chen, Director Gu, I have a work in the theme style. It should be very suitable for the National Day party." He keenly felt the change in Chen-Chi's mentality, so he immediately put forward his own opinion. If he didn't seize this opportunity, he wouldn't be in the entertainment industry. Gurue's eyes lit up. "What work? Where is it?" Lu Chen pointed to his head in embarrassment and said, "It's still here." Chapter 170.
What?
When he heard Lu Chen say that his work was still in his head, Gurue felt that his head was going to explode first. This was a King scam. Forgive this gentle music director for swearing in his heart. He was really angry with Lu Chen. As a senior in the circle, Gurue has always had a good impression of Lu Chen and appreciates the latter's talent very much. Lu Chen is young and handsome. He has a very high talent in singing and composition. It's rare that he doesn't have the arrogance and vanity of new artists. He is modest and peaceful without losing his passion. He is definitely one of the best newcomers in the pop music industry in recent years. If it weren't for the fact that his daughter was too young and still in junior high school, Gurue would be happy to introduce her to Lu Chen. Therefore, after learning that Wang Bin had an accident, his first reaction was to let Lu Chen fill in. Originally, Gurue was not in favor of changing Lu Chen's solo to a chorus. He felt that it was unfair to Lu Chen and violated the original agreement between the two parties, which made him embarrassed to meet this rising star. The situation in the satellite TV station is very complicated, and the interests of all sides are very deep. As a music director, Gurue's right to speak is not high. Even if he wants to help Lu Chen, he is powerless. This time, Wang Bin's accident happened to be an excellent opportunity, so he strongly recommended Lu Chen to Chen Qi. Chen Qi also appreciated Lu Chen, so he called Lu Chen over. According to Guru's idea, it was to let Lu Chen replace Wang Bin to sing a well-known work with a theme. Unexpectedly, Lu Chen offered to have a new work available. Guru was simply surprised. But he never expected that Lu Chen's so-called new song hadn't been written yet. How could great director Gu not be annoyed? Chen Qi, the assistant director of the National Day Party, the director, and so on were all there. He couldn't hang his face. Several colleagues from the TV station showed disapproving expressions. Seeing that Guru's face turned red, Lu Chen quickly explained, "Mr. Gu, give me 10 minutes. I'll type out the score first. I have an hour, and I can do the simple accompaniment. Look at the score first. If you're not satisfied with my work, you can do whatever you want." When he said the last sentence, his eyes shone with unparalleled confidence. It was this confidence and the good impression he had of Lu Chen that calmed Guru's anger that was about to erupt. He could not help looking at Chen Qi. The one who could decide this matter was the boss who held great power. Chen Qi said with a smile, "Young people are really impulsive. I'll give you 10 minutes then." To be honest, Chen Qi was a little annoyed when he heard Lu Chen's arrogant words just now. Youngsters nowadays really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. It was just that he was very shrewd and would not easily reveal his inner feelings. He even had the intention of watching a joke. After all, the one who supported Lu Chen was Guru. Now that he heard Lu Chen's explanation, the deputy director's curiosity was aroused. "This young man is so confident? Then I'll give you 10 minutes to perform. If you perform well, you pass. If you don't," Deputy Director Chen's face-slapping skills were not for show. "Thank you, Director Chen." "Thank you, Director Gu," Lu Chen asked. "Mr. Gu, can you lend me a computer? It's best if it has Singer Master installed." Singer Master was a godly tool for music creation. It combined the functions of song creation, arrangement, synthesis, output, and so on. It had a huge online cloud library. It was professional, but easy to use. Whether it was an amateur or an experienced musician, they could all use the software to create their own songs. Moreover, Singer Master could be directly connected to the Greater China Music Library. It was very convenient to apply for copyright registration. All of Lu Chen's works were completed through Singer Master. He originally majored in computer science and was very familiar with this software. It was not an exaggeration to say that he could write a score in 10 minutes and a simple accompaniment in 1 hour. This was only the first rehearsal. After the work passed the review, there was still time to go back and rearrange the music. Guru pointed at the desk next to him and said, "I'll lend you my computer. I also have a printer." This office belonged to Guru. The computer was lent to Lu Chen and the opportunity was given to him. If he messed up again, Director Gu immediately blacklisted him. "Thank you." Lu Chen did not hesitate. He immediately ran to the desk and turned on the computer. Guru's computer had high specs. There were many professional music software installed in the system. Singer Master was also there. It was the advanced version that Lu Chen was very familiar with. Lu Chen double-clicked on the Singing Master icon. While the software was opening, he took a deep breath. Cough, cough. He almost choked to death from the secondhand smoke in the room. "All right, I won't pretend anymore." He quickly searched through his memory to find the suitable work. In Singer Master, Lu Chen skillfully operated the software. His fingers quickly typed in a series of characters. Seeing that Lu Chen had started working, Chen Qi and Guru continued to talk, but the content was not related to work. After all, there were outsiders present. There were many things that could not be said. They all had this sensitivity. The topic they were talking about was the recently arrested Wang Bin. The impact of this incident was too bad. Celebrities being arrested for breaking the law was not news. The people were experienced and knowledgeable. The entertainment industry was not afraid of an itch. Anyway, a gust of wind would blow over, and the sun would still rise tomorrow. However, Wang Bin's status was too high. His original image had always been very good. Now that such a big incident happened, his career was completely finished. After being released, there was no chance for him to make a comeback. because the higher authorities of the country had strict regulations on this. They had to ban him for at least 10 years. Albums could not be released, announcements could not be released, programs could not be on, no publicity could be done. Not to mention 10 years, a few years would basically be wasted. The price was absolutely disastrous. Even Beijing television had to follow suit. After all, they had used Wang Bin to advertise before. The impact is too bad, Qin Shi frowned and said, it's like sitting at home and disaster comes from the sky. The deputy director sullenly pressed the cigarette butt into the ashtray. It was already filled with filter cigarette butts. Although Beijing television was also a victim in this incident, in the eyes of outsiders, it was just bad luck. That was the National Day party, and the special guest made such a big scandal, which undoubtedly discredited the TV station. And as the actual leader of this National Day party, Qin Shi was really a bit passive. The halo that he had brought about by the success of Singing China was instantly stripped by more than half. Yes, Gurue took out a cigarette and handed it to Qin Shi. The most important thing now is to eliminate the impact. He and Qin Shi are old colleagues and understand the latter's mind. People are lonely at the top. In a unit with a complex structure like a TV station, it is actually very tiring to be an official. Perhaps because of a small matter, he will inexplicably be demoted. Qin Shi took the cigarette and was about to light it when suddenly there was a sound of hot wind and a clicking mechanical sound.
Huh.
Both of them were stunned and turned their heads to look. They saw the laser printer on the shelf next to the desk spitting out a piece of printing paper. It could be seen that there were dense characters printed on it.
So fast.
Gurue couldn't help but shiver and feel that it was incredible. Just now, Lu Qin said that he would give him 10 minutes to write a song. Gurue didn't believe it. Even if there was a mature idea in his head, it would take time to write a score, unless he didn't pay attention to details. Therefore, he planned to give Lu Qin more time. After all, it's better to be generous and tolerant to young people. In the current pop music world, there is a lack of excellent creative newcomers like Lu Qin. As a result, he and Qin Shi had just finished smoking a cigarette, and Lu Qin had already printed out the score. Gurue didn't know what to say. Why are you in such a hurry? Although he complained, Gurue's movements were still very fast. He immediately straightened up and reached for the printout. He thought that if this work didn't meet the requirements, then he would criticize Lu Qin. Sometimes criticism is also a spur, which can help newcomers get rid of their impetuous mentality. Seeing Gurue's action, Qin Shi said, huh, and shook his head with a smile. The printed paper was still warm and even a little hot, but Gurue didn't care. He stared at the black and white notes and lyrics on the paper. The temporary score was of course a simplified score, but it didn't matter. Gurue mainly looked at the melody, style, and lyrics of the song. In the beginning, he frowned and didn't seem very satisfied. But his eyebrows soon stretched out and gradually showed a look of excitement, as if he had found a treasure. The music director's lips were moving. He was singing without making a sound.
Good.
Suddenly, Gurue slammed his palm on the coffee table and shouted excitedly, good song. He couldn't help but use all his strength, and as a result, the ashtray was knocked over. The assistant director sitting next to Gurue was startled. The cigarette in his mouth suddenly fell down. As a result, it fell right on his trousers. He jumped up instinctively and patted it with his hands again and again. To be continued, old Gu. What are you doing? Gurue came to his senses and quickly apologized. Oh, old Wang, I'm really sorry. Look at me. The assistant director didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Do you have to be so excited? Gurue handed the printed paper to the assistant director like he was presenting a treasure. Old Wang, you'll understand when you look at this song. The assistant director also knew music, so he had no problem reading simplified scores. Naturally, he could understand his mood. The assistant director took the score doubtfully. Was it so exaggerated? After giving up the score, Gurue looked at Lu Qin again. He was suddenly angry. What are you looking at us for? Hurry up and make the accompaniment. We have to rehearse on stage at 3:30. The music director of Beijing television had put all his previous thoughts about Lu Qin behind him. This song was completely worthy of his support for Lu Chen. Chapter 171. Backstage of the T1 studio. Mu Xiaochu looked in the direction of the entrance and exit from time to time, with a trace of anxiety in her eyes. Lu Chen has been called away for almost an hour, but he hasn't been seen yet, as if he had evaporated from the world. And the chorus program, Life on a String, the top 5 singers of Singing China, will soon be rehearsed on stage. She didn't know what happened to Lu Chen, and just now a staff member came over to inquire about the situation. How could this be? Mu Xiaochu was worried that Lu Chen's delay would affect the program schedule and would definitely offend Beijing television. Then Lu Chen's career future would definitely be greatly affected. But it was clearly the people from the station who called him away. It stands to reason that nothing should happen to him, but why hasn't he come back yet? Mu Xiaochu's heart was really in a mess. Zhang Haohai, who was sitting next to him, saw it. He knew what Mu Xiaochu was worried about, and his heart was full of jealousy. Xiaochu, you don't have to worry about others, Zhang Haohai couldn't help saying. Let's get ready to go on stage. It's rehearsal anyway. It doesn't matter if there's one less. With that, a touch of ridicule appeared on his face. Zhang Haohai was eager for Lu Chen not to go on stage, and preferably to be brushed off by Beijing television. He admitted that whether it was appearance or talent, he was no worse than Lu Chen, but the latter was doing very well. Even Mu Xiaochu looked at Lu Chen in a different light and spoke bluntly to him. Mu Xiaochu pursed her lips. She glanced at Zhang Haohai and said lightly, "This song was written by Senior Lu Chen. He is also the champion of Singing China. Without him, there would be no such program." Mu Xiaochu was kind-hearted, but that didn't mean she had no temper. She was reminding Zhang Haohai that Lu Chen was the core of this chorus track. One mustn't forget one's roots. And don't be self-righteous. Zhang Haohai's face suddenly turned red. He was the kind of person who had a strong sense of self-esteem. He couldn't stand other people's contempt, so he immediately wanted to retort. In the end, Mu Xiaochu didn't pay any more attention to him. Instead, he suddenly smiled, stood up, waved his arm, and said loudly, "Senior Lu Chen, come quickly." It turned out that Lu Chen had appeared at this time. Zhang Haohai had no choice but to forcefully swallow the words he was about to say, and his expression was extremely ugly. Lu Chen had no idea what had just happened because of him. He walked back to his seat and asked Mu Xiaochu with a smile, "What's wrong?" Mu Xiaochu smiled and said, "We're about to go on stage. Senior, are you ready?" Her smile was so sweet that it made Lu Chen's heart skip a beat. He nodded and said, "I'm ready." At this time, Lu Chen suddenly felt that the atmosphere around him had become strange. It suddenly quieted down. Mu Xiaochu also felt the same. She and Lu Chen turned their heads at the same time. What happened? They saw a beautiful woman in a rainbow-colored feather dress, escorted by several assistants like stars around the moon, came in front of them. She took the initiative to greet them with a smile. "Lu Chen, Xiaochu, long time no see." This woman in a gorgeous dress was Chun Fei, the queen of sweet songs in the music industry, a big shot in the entertainment industry. There were a lot of star artists who came to the party rehearsal today, but in terms of status, no one was higher than her. If Wang Bin was still here, he might be able to compete with her. Unfortunately, he was now squatting in the detention center. Chun Fei, had been in the entertainment industry for more than 10 years. This year, she was already 30 years old, but she was born beautiful and took good care of herself, so she looked like she was in her early 20s. Moreover, she had an amazing aura, so she naturally dominated the scene. No one dared to make a fuss in front of her. Many of them looked at her with respect and even reverence. "Hello, Teacher Chen." Lu Chen and Mu Xiaochu replied in unison. Chun Fei, is one of the 4 judges of Singing China. She appreciates Lu Chen very much and likes Mu Xiaochu very much. "Hello, Teacher Chen." The artists around them, including the other 3 top 5 singers, all got up and greeted them respectfully. "Hello, everyone." The queen of sweet songs said with a smile, "Just call me sister. Calling me teacher makes me old." Mu Xiaochu said very cleverly, "Sister Fei, Chun Fei nodded, stepped forward and took Mu Xiaochu's small hand and asked, "What's your program?" In full view of the public, Mu Xiaochu blushed at her intimate action and replied shyly, "Sister Fei, our program is a chorus, singing senior Lu Chen's song, walking and singing." Chun Fei suddenly said, "Then the next program is you." She tilted her head and asked Lu Chen, "Lu Chen, I remember you promised to write a song for me, right? Have you finished writing it? Did you forget?" The queen of sweet songs smiled. Her starry eyes were like water, with an indescribable charm, and even with a trace of girlish cuteness and beauty, which made people forget her real age. Lu Chen was a little dizzy. Fortunately, he had enough willpower. He quickly replied, "It's been written. When do you want it, Sister Fei?" I'll send it over." Chen Fei invited him to sing a song, but in the program. Therefore, Lu Chen didn't take it seriously, including Chen Fei's invitation to him as a guest at the concert. After all, the status between the two was too far apart. He didn't want people to misunderstand that he deliberately climbed up to the other party. He didn't expect that Chen Fei still remembered it and seemed to be serious. Of course, he wouldn't be stupid enough to say that he wasn't prepared. Chen Fei was surprised. "Really? That's great. Thank you. I'll ask my assistant to contact you." Lu Chen said, "Okay." The surrounding people who heard the conversation between the two of them all cast envious and jealous gazes at them. In their opinion, Lu Chen was so lucky. Not only did he get to know Chen Fei, but he was also going to write a song for her. It should be known that those who were qualified to cooperate with Chen Fei were all top-level figures in the industry. Lu Chen was just a new artist who had just made his debut, but he was actually favored by Chen Fei. If it wasn't luck, then what was it? Chen Fei noticed the strange gazes from all around, but she didn't care. She smiled and said, "Go ahead." After that, she went to the VIP room with her assistant. After Chen Fei left, the atmosphere backstage quickly returned to its original state. Then a staff member appeared, holding a microphone to remind the performers of the next program to get ready to go on stage. It was the chorus of Lu Chen, Mu Xiaochu, and others. The top 5 singers of Singing China will gather together in the waiting area and then sing together on the stage. According to the arrangement of Beijing television, today is the first rehearsal for the National Day Party. It will be rearranged on the 21st, rehearsed on the 25th, and recorded live on the 29th, which will be broadcast on the evening of October 1st. The schedule is very tight. If there is a problem with the program, additional rehearsals will be needed. Of the 4 major parties of Beijing television, except for the New Year's welcome party, the others are all recorded. Today's first rehearsal is very important for the artists who participate in the performance, because if their performance is not good enough, they may be brushed off, and it doesn't mean that they can be officially recorded. Therefore, whether it's Lu Chen, Mu Xiaochu, or Zhang Haohai, they all went all out and were very serious. Although it was the first time for the 5 singers to cooperate, there was basically no big problem, except that their cooperation was not very tacit. After all, the difficulty of this song is not high, and any one of them can easily control it. Beijing Television's T1 studio can accommodate 3,000 live audiences, but today is a rehearsal, so there are certainly not that many audiences. Basically, the people at the scene are the staff and relevant leaders of the TV station, including the judges of the party program group. After singing, the TV station's judges gave some advice and then let everyone off the stage. Today, their rehearsal is over. On the way back to the backstage, Mu Xiaochu asked, "Senior Lu Chen, are you going back now?" Artist time is precious, especially those who have a lot of schedules. Although they are willing to squeeze out time to participate in the rehearsal of the party, the TV station is still very reasonable. Therefore, they can leave after the rehearsal and wait until the rehearsal on the 25th. Lu Chen shook his head and said, "You go first. I still have a solo performance to rehearse." There's still a solo performance? Several other singers were stunned and couldn't believe their ears. Especially Zhang Haohai, whose jaw almost fell off. All 3 of them knew that this program was originally Lu Chen's solo performance. Later, after the public relations operation of the company they signed with Beijing Television, it was changed to a 5-person chorus. The only one who didn't know the inside story was probably Mu Xiaochu. The three of them couldn't help but gloat over Lu Chen's misfortune. Anyone who encountered such a thing would probably be depressed. But who would have thought that Beijing Television would actually prepare a solo performance for Lu Chen? Isn't this a little too much? Other star artists only have one program, but Lu Chen can be on 2. Is it because he is the champion? They are indignant, jealous and bitter, depressed and speechless. Only Mu Xiaochu is really happy for Lu Chen. Senior Lu Chen, you are really amazing. Lu Chen said with a smile, I was just lucky. Zhang Haohai and the others cursed in their hearts. What are you pretending for? But no matter how jealous they were, it didn't affect Lu Chen in the slightest. After saying goodbye to Mu Xiaochu, Lu Chen waited backstage for nearly half an hour before going on stage again. This time, he went on stage alone. At this time, more than half of the rehearsal program had passed, and there were a lot more people in the audience in the studio hall. Among them, the people sitting in the first 2 rows were very eye-catching. Lu Chen knew that these more than a dozen people were the top executives of Beijing Television, as well as 2 leaders of Central Television. Everyone's eyes were focused on him. Compared with the chorus of many people in front of him, the pressure he had to bear alone was undoubtedly doubled. Standing in the center of the stage, in front of the microphone, facing pairs of scrutinizing eyes, Lu Chen's heart was as still as water. Chapter 172. Stroking the sparse hair on his head, Lu Jingji twisted his fat waist and buttocks to make his huge body more comfortable against the soft chair, and the moderate soft and hard wrapping feeling of the chair also made him very comfortable. The little brother of those years is shaking. The director of the CCTV Literature and Art Program Department secretly sighed in his heart. It is said that the chair under his buttocks is worth more than 7,000 yuan and is an ergonomic technology product. In the Beijing Television T1 studio, there are 2,999 similar soft chairs. This newly put into use studio claims to be the largest and most advanced facilities in China, and even Lu Jingji is a little jealous. The largest studio of CCTV can only accommodate 2,000 audiences at most. As a middle and high-level figure of CCTV, Lu Jingji went to Beijing Television today to watch the first rehearsal of the National Day Party. Of course, it was not because he was bored, but because he had a duty. CCTV, to which Lu Jingji belongs, is the most important news and public opinion organization in China. It is an important ideological and cultural front, and one of the most competitive mainstream media. It has a variety of functions such as news dissemination, social education, cultural entertainment, information services, and so on. Founded in 1955, CCTV is the main channel for the national public to obtain information. It is also an important window for China to understand the world, and the world to understand China. It has a wide influence in the world. The predecessor of CCTV was Beijing Television Station. Later, after the restructuring, CCTV and Beijing Television were separated. As the saying goes, broken bones are still connected with tendons. The relationship between CCTV and Beijing Television is complicated enough to write a thick book. Many of the senior executives of Beijing Television came down from CCTV, and the latter also has the direct responsibility of guiding the former. This influence is comprehensive. The reason why Beijing Television produced its first reality show this year has a lot to do with CCTV. Beijing Television relies on CCTV to a certain extent, but it is not willing to be the latter's marionette. The great success of the ratings of Singing China inevitably made the little brother of CCTV have some ideas. So, Lu Jingji came here today, not just to guide the National Day Party of Beijing Television. Thinking about this, Lu Jingji was a little out of sorts. It wasn't until he saw Lu Chen appear on the stage that he turned his attention back to the program list in his hand. This program is... LV Jingji stared at the words on the program list and asked in confusion, Wang Bin's New China's New Era? Although Director Louis was a little nearsighted, he was wearing high-end glasses that cost thousands of yuan. He could clearly see what the person on the stage looked like. Is this Wang Bin? Are you kidding me? Lu Jingji and Wang Bin knew each other and had eaten together before. Sitting next to him, Gao Zhixue, director of Beijing TV's editor-in-chief office, coughed and said awkwardly, Wang Bin. Wang Bin's program was temporarily changed. Wang Bin's program was changed? Replace him with such a young man? LV Jingji was a little confused. It was not uncommon for a program to be changed during the rehearsal of a TV gala. As for the reasons, it was very complicated. Some of them were because the program was really not good, some of them had problems with the performers, and some of them might have been squeezed out by the latecomers. But what kind of person was Wang Bin? He was not a top big shot, but he was a heavyweight guest of Beijing television. Will he be squeezed out? LV Jingji shook his head and asked, Did something happen to Wang Bin? His words were spot on. At this time, his assistant came over and whispered a few words in his ear. In fact, LV Jingji's assistant and Gao Zhixue had already gotten the news, but they didn't tell him. The former didn't think it was necessary, and the latter didn't want to say it at all. Now that LV Jingji took the initiative to ask, his assistant couldn't pretend to be deaf and dumb. Otherwise, he would be disrespectful to his leader. LV Jingji was stunned. After a while, he turned to look at Gao Zhixue with a strange look in his eyes. Gao Zhixue smiled helplessly. LV Jingji sighed. Wang Bin is still a good person. I guess he was possessed for a moment. Who is this? To be able to temporarily replace Wang Bin, he was certainly not an ordinary artist. Gao Zhixue secretly breathed a sigh of relief and hurriedly introduced, This is Lu Chen, the winner of Singing China. Lu Chen? LV Jingji frowned and immediately relaxed. I remember, my son likes his songs. He looked at Gao Zhixue with a faint smile and said, Originally, Wang Bin sang a theme song. You let this Lu Chen replace him. What song are you going to sing? Whether it is CCTV or Beijing TV, the program of the National Day Party must first be politically correct. The singing, which accounts for a large proportion of the program, must be dominated by theme songs, and popular songs are only a foil. The previous two programs were popular works, and now there is a champion of the talent competition. Director Louis had to find fault with him and give him a warning. Gao Zhixue could only continue to smile bitterly. It was arranged by Deputy Director Chen and Director Gu. They will not have no sense of the overall situation. The director of Beijing TV's chief editorial office also complained about his colleagues in his heart. If you want to sing a theme song, there are too many people to choose from. How can Lu Chen be the one to replace it? There is already a chorus program in front of Lu Chen. LV Jingji said meaningfully, I hope so. He thought that if the program was still a popular song, then he would have to say something. At this time, the host of the party program said loudly, The next program is a male solo, and the singer is Lu Chen, the winner of the first season of Beijing Television's Singing China! The name of the song he brought us is I Love You China. As soon as the host's voice fell, there was a whisper of discussion in the audience. For the first rehearsal of the National Day Party, the audience in the studio was filled by the staff of the TV station. They all already knew that Wang Bin was arrested, and the program was destined to be replaced. But no one expected that the one who replaced the veteran singer was actually Lu Chen. LV Jingji was stunned. I Love You China? The name of the song is good. Why haven't I heard of this song before? Gao Zhixue was relieved at first, but then he raised his heart. I Love You China. The name of the song was the theme song, but in his memory, there was no such work at all. He really didn't know from which corner did Gurwei find it. This old Gu, can he be more reliable? Gao Zhixue's depression was really needless to say. There are so many classic theme songs. What's the point of finding one that no one has ever heard? Isn't it good to sing Happy Chinese People, Better Future of the Motherland, Red Flag, or Ode to China? Although depressed, Gao Zhixue still had to bite the bullet and explain. It should be a very good song. Heaven pitied him. He never knew that there was such a theme song. The next moment, the prelude of the music sounded. As soon as Gao Zhixue heard it, his heart turned cold, and his face looked very ugly. Never mind that he had never heard of the song. The accompaniment arrangement was very ordinary or even poor, like a rough job that was rushed at the last minute. Gao Zhixue has studied music and understands music. The only thing he was glad about was that Lu Jingji didn't understand it. At least he wouldn't immediately tell whether it was good or bad. But Gao Zhixue's expectation for this song instantly dropped to the freezing point. And among the staff of the TV station sitting in the back, many of them were knowledgeable. They either tightened their faces or showed a funny look, and some were very surprised. Can a solo program of this level be used to make up the number? Then everyone looked at Lu Chen to see how he would sing. Lu Chen held the microphone and lowered his head. He began to sing along with the accompaniment. Whenever I feel pain, I want you to hold me tight. Touch my soul like you always do. Whenever I am confused, you give me a kind of warmth, like someone's arm tightly around my shoulder. Sometimes I feel lonely and helpless, like a stone rolling down the hillside. But as long as I think of your name, I always regain confidence. Sometimes I lose my direction, like a swallow that strays from its flock in the sky. But as long as I think of your existence, I no longer feel fear. As Gao Zhixue listened, his eyebrows were twisted into a Chuan character, and his dissatisfaction was overflowing. If it weren't for Lu Jingji's presence, he would have really cursed out on the spot. The chief editor's office director has been able to determine that he has never heard this song before. The previous melody and lyrics are not bright. The tune is soothing and deep, without the excitement of a theme song. Lu Chen's singing skills are still very good. His voice is unique and highly recognizable. His performance in the middle and low notes is worthy of a title of Singing China Champion. Most importantly, the melody and lyrics are obviously pop style. Where's the theme song? Gao Zhixue really can't listen to it anymore. He has already thought about it. This solo program must be replaced, and Gurue can't continue to be willful. And at this time, Lu Chen, who was standing on the stage, suddenly raised his head. His eyes were looking straight ahead. His eyes were full of firm strength, and his singing suddenly became excited and high-spirited. I love you, China's beloved mother. I cry for you and am proud of you. I love you, China's beloved mother. I cry for you and am proud of you. When the song, which contains infinite emotional power, rushed into Gao Zhixue's ears, he couldn't help but shiver. This chorus part in an instant, the previous theme was sublimated and reached a very strong height. The sharp contrast between the previous and the previous made the climax part give people a deafening strong feeling, as if a soft place in the heart was suddenly touched, making people involuntarily moved, and even goosebumps emerged. One day, this song will grow old, like a bud on an old tree, but I will still sing it over and over again, just like my life. Some people will slowly disappear, and some emotions will gradually break, but you are always like an unparalleled sun in my heart. I love you, China's beloved mother. I cry for you and am proud of you. I love you, China's beloved mother. I cry for you and am proud of you. The whole studio was silent, and all the voices of discussion disappeared. Only Lu Chen's singing was echoing, impacting, and beating like waves in the sea. Wave after wave, they shocked everyone's hearts. Note, I love you, China lyricist/composer, Wang Feng. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.